front of us. Little gimpy. Yep. Read me the guys that are not in uniform. Oh, you already did? Those are the guys that are just in. Okay. Not supposed to play because he's got a concussion. So Bell is in uniform. Rollins got the white hat. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Randy. Hi, I'm Jag Wotherspoon along with Coach Dave Filippini and Dr. Luke Omi, and this afternoon it's the Eureka Loggers and the St. Bernard's Crusaders in a Big Four Conference football game at Crusader Field here in Eureka. And Coach, welcome to what people are referring to as kind of a battle for bragging rights here in the city of Eureka. That's definitely something that is at stake today. It's only the second time that these two schools have played one another in football since way back in the 1960s, and that has occurred because they are now both members of the Big Four Conference. We're expecting a big crowd today and a lot of different storylines today, Coach.
Yeah, certainly, and I think one of them is that both teams are 0-1 in league coming into this game. Whoever loses this game is most certainly going to be out of the running for any co-championship or shot at a league title, and Del Norte's going to be hard to catch as it is, but if you're 0-2 after today, then you're pretty much out of the running. So if you have any hope for a league title, you got to win today.
So let's start with what's happening in the Big Four Conference, because last night first place was at stake in the Big Four Conference, and Del Norte taking care of business, a very business-like performance from them as they ended up beating Fortuna by a final score of 20-7 last night. Del Norte now has won 4 in a row. They are in the driver's seat in the Big Four Conference. They have clinched at least a share of the conference championship, 2-0, 8-1. Fortuna is 1-1, 3-6. And St. Bernard's 0-1, 6-2. And Eureka 0-1, 3-5. So right now, at this point in time, every game is a big game, no pun intended, in the Big Four Conference.
Oh, absolutely, and we're talking about playoff eligibility. We're talking about a share league title. If Del Norte falters next week against Eureka, or all the scenarios that could play out. But Del Norte looks like they're in pretty good control of their destiny at this point, and they were pretty dominant last night, physically dominant, and even though the score wasn't any indicator of how kind of lopsided it was, they were just, it was a low-scoring game, but you never felt like Del Norte was not going to win that football game.
And I think that based on what we've seen up to this point in time in conference play, Del Norte is definitely the team to beat in the Big Four Conference. A lot of people felt that way going into the season. Things changed during the preseason where some people felt that there was maybe a little more parity, but now as we are basically halfway through the second week of conference play, the Warriors really kind of have established themselves just based on their play on the line of scrimmage. And as a former offensive lineman and a former lineman, that's where it really starts and ends. And Del Norte is as good as anyone up front here on the North Coast.
Absolutely, and one of the two signs, Cox Cooley gets his 1,000th yard
right
next year. Here we are in game 9 in the season. He's got 1,000 yards, and that's a tribute to the offensive line. That's a tribute to his running ability as well. But when you can put a 1,000-yard rusher out there, you're doing a great job up front.
And they're averaging almost 300 yards a game on the ground, and then on top of that, like we talked about on the postgame show, you and I talked about it. We also talked about it with Coach Benbow that one recipe for success as far as one way to win football games and to win championships is to be able to run the football and then play solid defense, and that's exactly what this edition of the Warriors is doing.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. I think the Warriors are, they're not giving up many points per game, maybe 10 or something like that. And their defense is outstanding. They fly to the football. They're big. They're fast, and oftentimes control the line of scrimmage with just 3 players. And when you can do that, then you've got an extra couple of guys running around, putting them wherever you want, taking away the strength of an offense. They did a good job against Thrapp last week up in Crescent City, taking him out of the game. I mean, he had a touchdown on that hook and lateral play, but for the most part, I don't know that he had more than a catch.
Right.
And so when you can do that, when you're good enough to control the line of scrimmage and take away a key player,
sure,
you're playing great football.
Taking a quick look at the Little Fork Conference and bragging rights up in northern Humboldt last night at the Redwood Bowl. It was Arcata shutting out McKinleyville 32-0, and today in the Cream City, it's homecoming, and Ferndale will be entertaining Hoopah Valley, and I think that's going to actually be a 2 o'clock kickoff, and hopefully we'll be getting some updates from Eureka Athletic Director Christy Christensen, who's been very good to us this season as far as keeping us posted on what's going on. So right now, in the Little Fork Conference, Ferndale has clinched at least a share of the conference championship. They are 4-0, 6-2. Arcata, with the win last night, improves its record to 3-2 and 5-4. Hoopah Valley 2-2, 3-4, and McKinleyville is 0-5 and 1-8. But the Wildcats need to take care of business against the Hoopah Valley team that swept them last season.
Right, yeah, they had a great season last year, and you can never discount anybody. I think they struggled. It was a pretty close game, I want to say, in the first half when Ferndale was at Hoopah.
Right.
It was Ferndale, I think, pulled away at the end, but Hoopah, they're capable of beating anybody they play. They just gotta, they've got to stay focused and have a good game. So Ferndale better be aware.
When we come back on the pregame show, we're going to take a closer look at today's matchup. Ray Hamill in the house covering today's game for HumboldtSports.com. And when we come back on the pregame show, we'll take a closer look at today's game between the Loggers and the Crusaders. And we'll be back with more on the pregame show right after this timeout. All right, Randy, thank you. Everything sound good?
You got a whole new camera.
Super.
So it's right across the street.
Okay, good.
Right there?
I mean, right
So I can look out and see it?
Yeah, there we go.
See someone stealing my trailer?
I put the lock back on, but I didn't want the.
You on the air?
We are, yes. What are you up to?
Remember me?
Good to see you. Willie,
Yeah.
what's up, man? What are you doing?
Hey, I wanted to tell you one thing. I was listening to your broadcast last week.
Okay, which one?
Crescent City and the
Oh, okay.
Apex.
The St. Burgers game.
You got to tell the score more often.
Okay, I will do that. I'll make a mental note right now. You're probably getting mad at me.
I was
Yes.
I was hollering
Perfect.
vicariously.
Okay, perfect. with over 100 tackles. He has a sling on his right shoulder as he broke his right thumb in practice this week.
Yeah, he's over on the sidelines there. He's got a jersey on, but no pads. And there's a short line of injured loggers over there that will be missing this game due to some form of injury or another. And that's always unfortunate. You want to see these teams face each other at full strength, and you want every kid to play every game. But that's just part of the football world where you got to deal with injuries, and the next person in line is going to have to stand out and take some snaps in place of the injured person.
Captains have met at midfield, and
Ladies
before
and
the
gentlemen,
opening
welcome to
kickoff, we're
Crusader
going to
Field.
have the
Before our
prayer
prayer,
and the singing
a
of
note
our
about the
national anthem.
The officials are our guests today. We cannot play this game without the referees. They are here today for our student athletes, not for our verbal abuse. When things do not go our way in life, which is often, we don't yell at the gas station attendant, the waiter, or the police officer. So please treat our officials with respect today. Our team captains and coaches will do the communicating. If you feel yourself getting angry, I recommend a walk to the snack bar or some of Jason Gable's barbecue chicken teriyaki. Let's give our officials a hand. Let's begin in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Today, a prayer for our firefighters. Merciful Father in heaven, look down in your love upon all those who protect us and ours from the ravages of fire and flame. Grant them the courage and skills to carry out their duties well and safely today. When they must go into the face of danger, be by their side in the smoke and the flames. Please watch over their families, ever reminding them that those who fight fire are also and always in your loving care. This we ask in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. In the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
As always, an outstanding rendition of the national anthem as we are getting set for the opening kickoff, Coach. And what happened with the coin toss?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
Didn't see it.
I distracted you.
Well, I just wasn't paying attention, so sorry about that. But, we'll see who grabs a tee, and we'll know who he's going to receive. But,
Coach Tomlin.
and St. Bernard's is carrying a call out to the official. They're kicking, so my guess is they won the toss and deferred, but I'm not sure.
So we will find out momentarily. The officials working today's game. The referee is Roland Treherne. The umpire is Alex Barrich. The head linesman, Joey Quinn. The line judge is Stuart Millar. And for our second straight broadcast, the back judge, Randy's good friend, Larry Doss. So we are just about set to get things underway, and it appears St. Bernard's will be kicking off. And back deep for Eureka is number 13, Justice Woods, as the Loggers will be moving from our right to our left. The two teams played last year at Albee Stadium, and that would have been on Saturday, October 13th. And Eureka beat St. Bernard's in that game by a score of 54-21. So Guillermo Perez Estrada will kick off from the 40-yard line, and he's going to boot this one away. And it's a good kick that's going to sail into the end zone for a touchback.
Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Little wind working with, but that ball sailed right into the
First and 10 Eureka at their own 20-yard line.
right into the end zone. So nice kick, puts Eureka back and about the 20-yard line, and that's not great field position typically for how many pooch kicks we see all the time and onside kicks. Most teams start around the 40. So.
And getting the start at quarterback for the third straight game, it's junior Hayden Bodie. And on first down, they're going to keep it on the ground. And the ball carrier is going to pick up maybe a yard out to about the 21-yard line.
On the play.
And then inside trap
It's up
play.
second and 9 for the Loggers.
St. Bernard's defense doing a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage and giving up less than a yard.
Loggers break the huddle. Wing T formation. Now we have motion to the right, and the handoff is going to be to Magana. And Magana is across the line of scrimmage. And then he's going to be brought down after a short gain over on the far side of the field.
Doing a great job of fighting off the block and making a good tackle right there and putting him into
Gain of 1 on the play, brings up 3rd and 8 for the Loggers.
So it will be 3rd and call it 8 for the Loggers. First drive of the game. Eureka's starting this drive at their own 20-yard line. Senior Trevor Bell is in uniform, but Bodie getting the start at quarterback. And on 3rd and 8, this time they're going to hand the ball off, and the ball carrier for Eureka does a great job. That's done of keeping his feet, and he's across the 30 out to about the 32-yard line as he picks up 10 yards and a Loggers first down on 3rd and 8.
Yeah, nice counter trap there, and they had St. Bernard's flowing in the wrong direction and came back toward us and picked up a nice gain there.
So a big 3rd down conversion. Graham is going to be split to the left. He's matched up with Omi. Magana now in motion, and they're going to dump it off to Graham. It's going to be brought down by Omi right at the line of scrimmage. So a nice job by St. Bernard's reading that play. St. Bernard's player shaken up on the play. Number 52, Jacob Smallwood.
Brought down by number 10, Will Omi.
Hit by Omi.
In on the tackle along with
No gain on
Omi.
the play.
And Smallwood now is going to check out as he's replaced by number 56, Connor Petrucia.
That was just a really quick slant. The ball got to him about one step off the line of scrimmage, but Omi was all over him from the get-go and nowhere to go.
Graham is split to the right. The wingback on the left side is Magana. They're going to give it to Magana, who's got some running room, and he's across the 35 and out to about the 39-yard line before being tackled by Prudhomme and Omi as a gain of 7 on the play, and that will set up a 3rd and 3 play for the Eureka offense.
Third
Well,
down
that's
for
a
the Eureka
counter trap
offense.
again. We saw Del Norte runs that thing very well and really hurt the Huskies with both games they played. And now Eureka using it to, misdirection's tough, especially early in the game. You're amped up and you're really flowing hard to the football.
And on 3rd and 3, they're going to hand the ball off, and the ball carrier for Eureka is going to do a very good job of getting to the edge, and that is done after he was initially hit behind the line of scrimmage, but he did a nice job of fighting off a couple of tacklers before being brought down at the 43-yard line, and that will be good enough for another first down.
Yeah, avoiding an inadvertent face mask on that play too. St. Bernard's kind of got a hand in the face there, but not enough to warrant a flag. But another first down for the Loggers, and we're starting to march a little bit.
So a gain of 5 and a first down. This time they're going to give it to her, and her is going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage. And leading the way defensively for the Crusaders is number 6, Demetrius Rossa.
Okay,
well, I tell you what, Cole Petrusha did a good job of plugging that hole as well. He was right. He dug down and held his ground and really stuffed that hole up. He's been playing pretty good defense the last couple of games that we've watched.
He sure has.
So no gain on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 10 coming up. This will be the 8th play of the drive, a drive that started at the 20-yard line, and they're going to keep it on the ground again, and that's going to be Dunn, and Dunn's going to be hit and tackled right at the line of scrimmage. So up to this point in time, for the most part, St. Bernard's doing a pretty good job up front, matching up with Eureka's offensive line.
Yeah, with the exception of the counter trap, they've been very stingy on the line of scrimmage and doing a good job of getting off the ball quickly. And I think there's, Mike Benbow sort of established the model of quicker, defensive linemen kind of shooting gaps and getting around the knees of these pulling linemen. And St. Bernard's doing that right now.
3rd and 10 for the Loggers. This time it's going to be a reverse, and they're going to give it to Graham, who's going to try to get to the outside. He's going to cut back. He's still on his feet. He's across the 45 and out to about the 48-yard line before being brought down by Logan Petrusha. A gain of maybe 5 on the play, and now it's going to be 4th and 5 and decision time for head coach Jason White, and it appears that the punt team's going to be on the field.
Punting the ball, yeah. Well, it's been hard sledding to gain any yards on the ground here for St. Bernard's. We've got a couple first downs, but going to try to win the battle of field position here.
High snap, that's her back in punt formation. This one's off the side of his foot, and it might end up being minus yardage on that punt, as her kind of rushed it, and in the process of doing it, ended up going off the side of his foot, took a St. Bernard's bounce, and it's a punt of minus 3 yards, Coach.
Yeah, that was a disaster of a punt. And, St. Bernard's was bringing a little bit of pressure. They were getting close, but he had time to kick that ball away, and he just simply missed it. That's a tough break for the Loggers and a nice break for the Crusaders right there. Good field position to start out.
So a first down at the Eureka 45 with Omi at quarterback and Thrapp in the backfield. And they're going to dump it off out in the flat to Thrapp, and that was almost a lateral. Very, very close as they tried to dump it off to him. And Thrapp was kind of parallel to where Omi was. And that could have very easily been a lateral, Coach.
Yeah, it looked like it was a forward pass from here, but not by a whole lot. And
What Cole come out for?
they're not. The officials agree it was a forward pass. Otherwise, they would have spotted it with the ball rolled out of bounds right down here in front of us. So, Eureka's defense, they were flying to that spot, but I don't know if he'd have got much yards had he made the catch.
Now Omi this time on a quarterback draw is going to find some running room as he's inside the 40 and close to a first down to the 36-yard line. So a nice pickup by Omi on that second down run.
Yeah, by design there wasn't much of a read going on there. He caught the snap and tucked it and ran right away.
8 and 9 on the play, brings up 3rd and 1 for the
Offensive
Crusaders.
line did a good job of getting out to that second level and getting the body on the linebackers.
Gain of 9. It's going to be 3rd and 1. That's Finotti in motion to the right, and now we're going to have a whistle, and St. Bernard's is going to take a timeout. So we're going to take a break in the action with 6:35 remaining in the first quarter. No score between Eureka and St. Bernard's, and we'll be back with more right after this break.
You can maximize that too if you want.
I'm good.
You good?
You're all right with this.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
We'll put it over
The tape.
I'll put it up.
I'll put a couple pieces here for you if it blows, and you can just put it. Is that all right?
Yep, that's
Thank you, Coach. That one's probably been sitting around.
pretty easy in the press box.
Okay, so far so good, Randy? Okay, good. The wind is picking up a little bit, yeah.
You're streaming live today.
Streaming live? Okay. You know, I heard something about that. And on 3rd and short after the St. Bernard's timeout, they fake the handoff to Finotti, and Omi's going to keep it himself and carry the ball to the 27-yard line as he picks up 9 yards and a first down.
Read option play, reading, the running back was covered. He pulled the ball out and took off and picked up a nice gain.
So it will be 1st and 10 for St. Bernard's at the Eureka 27. That's Hagler in motion. This time it's an inside handoff to Finotti, who's got all kinds of running room as he's inside the 20, and he's finally brought down at the 16-yard line after a gain of 11 yards and another St. Bernard's first down.
Yeah, nice fake to the motion. Motion man on that play, hand off to Finotti up the middle. He had a huge hole to run through.
On the 15-yard
I
line.
think one of the loggers just happened to get a hand on his ankle and brought him down. Otherwise, he might still be running.
So St. Bernard's in the red zone for the first time today. They have a first down at the 16. Hagler in motion. Omi wants to throw. Looks downfield, and it's caught by Joyner at about the 12. Joyner's still on his feet, and he's inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line before being brought down by Keeb Hur.
Down by her.
Yeah, play action, 2 fake handoffs, and then a quick hitter out to the sideline there. And
7 on the play, brings up 2nd and 3.
Kind of carving up the Eureka defense right now.
Gain of 7 on that pass from Omi to Joyner, and it's going to be 2nd and 3 at the Logger 9. Finotti's in the backfield, spread formation. They're going to hand it off to Finotti, and Finotti's going to run straight up the middle, and depending on his forward progress, he's going to be close to a first down.
First down. Motion, right?
Roland Treehern holding up.
Gain of 3 down to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Crusaders.
A signal and letting us know that it is going to be enough for a first down. So it's going to be 1st and goal for St. Bernard's at the Eureka 5-yard line. St. Bernard's offense looks over to the sidelines. And now we've got a Eureka player who's going to be forced to leave the game. That's number 5. Antorius Bell, 5'10", 175, a senior. He's going to check out as he is replaced by number 7, fellow senior, Willie Magana. Kind of an equipment issue. Now you got Hagler in motion to the right. They fake the handoff to Finotti. Omi's going to keep it himself, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
St. Bernard's play selection has been outstanding on this drive. They've got Eureka running all kinds of different directions, lots of motion, lots of play action, and once again, Omi showed his ability to beat you with his legs, doing a great job. 3 carries on that drive for pretty good yards and a touchdown.
So a 5-yard touchdown run by Omi puts St. Bernard's on the scoreboard. Take advantage of a short field, 8 plays, 45 yards, the numbers on the drive, and the extra point is good by Perez Estrada. We'll take a break in the action with 4:28 remaining in the first quarter. It's St. Bernard's 7, Eureka nothing, and we'll be back with more right after this timeout. Check on how many touchdowns Omi has now scored. Thanks, Randy. The St. Bernard stats are on the bottom. It'll be like the last page, Coach. It'll be like page 6. I'll go all the way over right here. Yeah, the guy scored. Exactly. That's his 9th touchdown. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Good start for the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Perez Estrada set to kick off from the 40-yard line. Whether it will be an onside kick or whether he will kick it away, we'll soon find out. And for the second time today, he's going to kick it away, and this one is once again going to sail into the end zone for a touchback, as Perez Estrada taking advantage of the fact that there's a little bit of wind behind him, Coach.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong wind. I'm looking at the trees over here in the background, and they're waving around pretty strongly. And so, yeah, he's got a strong leg to begin with, and I've seen him kick a touchback before, if I remember right, on one of the off or odd non-onside kicks that St. Bernard's attempted, and now they've got Eureka back on the 20-yard line again.
Perez Estrada, an exchange student from Spain, and on first down, they're going to keep it on the ground, and the ball carrier this time is Bell. And Bell's going to run straight ahead across the line of scrimmage and out to about the 22-yard line.
Yeah, just a quick hitter that time, right?
3 on the play, brings up second and 7
had
for
a
the
little
Loggers.
seam open up and picked up a couple yards, but not a lot of misdirection or razzle-dazzle going on there. Just a straight dive.
St. Bernard's making some changes defensively. It's going to be 2nd and 7 for the Eureka offense with Bodie at quarterback, and Bodie back to pass. Sets up, has some time, wants to air it out, and it's going to be a jump ball situation. Good coverage on the play. As Omi was battling with Graham, the ball kind of fluttered, and both players tried to kind of come back and react to the football as it ends up falling incomplete.
Yeah, throwing into the wind a little bit. The ball was thrown inside and short. Advantage to the defense there on that play, and kind of a little bit of a duck action on that ball, but receiver still had a chance to get there and get a hand on
their own 23-yard line.
Bodie coming into today's game 18 for 36. Now Bodie's going to roll to his left, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Graham, who was well covered on the play by Thrapp and Omi, but we do have a flag down.
Usually holding territory. We'll see what they've got. Holding against Eureka. Decline.
Penalty flag on Eureka.
Bodie with 199 yards passing. Still looking for his first touchdown pass of the season. And he's thrown 2 interceptions. So for the second time today, who had a punt that was minus 3 yards, is back in punt formation at his own 23.
Well, from here, even a good punt's going to put St. Bernard's in a pretty good spot. So.
And Gets the punt away. And this one's going to be up in the wind and calling for a fair catch and doing a nice job over there on the far side of the field. That'll be number 88, Logan Petruccia, who was one of the up men. And Petruccia in a good spot, did the right thing, called for a fair catch, made the fair catch, and once again, St. Bernard's is going to have excellent field position starting this drive at the Eureka 37.
Yeah, Eureka definitely losing the battle for field position here. Plus, the way St. Bernard's kind of cut him up in the last offensive possession, things not looking too good early for the Loggers.
Just a 14-yard punt by her. That's Hagler in motion to the right. Omi juggles the snap out of the shotgun and then is able to hold on to it, and he's going to run straight ahead, and he's inside the 35 to about the 34-yard line, a gain of 3 on the play.
Gain of 3 brings up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, bobbled the snap a little bit, kind of bounced off his chest, but he recovered it, missed the handoff or the fake handoff, and took off running and still picked up a couple of yards.
So it's going to be 2nd and 7. There's Finoti in motion. He now lines up in the backfield. And they fake the handoff to Finoti. And he's going to keep it himself. And he's going to be tripped up right at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Tripped up after a short game.
Keeb Hurd coming up from his spot. And
making a nice 3rd and 6 for the Crusader.
Andrew Harrelson, the defensive coordinator and inside linebacker coach for the Loggers. Gain of maybe a yard on the play, so we'll call it 3rd and 6. Trips to the right, and Omi once again is going to keep it himself, and he's going to be dragged down from behind on a nice defensive play by number 75. That's Miles Maynell, 6'5", 240. Senior defensive lineman, is one of the top linemen in our area.
Well, he's a big guy, and he did a good job of fighting through a double team, it looked like, and getting Omi before he could get ahead of steam going here. It is 4-down territory. They're down here in an area where they're going to take advantage of all 4 downs to get a first.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. St. Bernard 7, Eureka nothing. 4th and 6 for the Crusaders. And now we've got some movement along the line of scrimmage. Hagler may have moved. The Eureka defense might have moved, but it was Hagler first.
Eureka defense certainly jumped. Hagler out there on the left at the slot position moved first. And
legal procedure against the Crusaders 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So the penalty is going to be against Hagler, a procedure penalty against him. And now it appears that St. Bernard's might send their punt team out on the field, as it's kind of been a field position battle here in the first quarter, Coach.
Yeah, for sure. And we're trying to keep Eureka pinned deep. If they actually kick this, we'll see. We know how much Matt Tomlin hates turning the ball over in any circumstance, so be aware of a possible fake here.
So it's 4th and 11 at the Eureka 38. That's Thrap back in punt formation, and he's going to get the punt away as he angles for that coffin corner, and we'll see what happens because it ends up over there behind the batting cages. And we're going to try to figure out where that punt... It's going to be right at about the 10-yard line. I think you're right, Coach.
Yeah, nice
First
punt.
and 10, Eureka,
Down in the
their own
corner,
10-yard
and,
line.
yeah, right inside the 10.
Going to spot it at the 9. So a 29-yard punt by Thrap. And this time Eureka will take over deep in their own territory, their third possession of the game. They give it to Magana, who's across the 10 and out to about the 13-yard line before being tackled by Hagler and Logan Petrucia.
Well, Crusaders doing a good job of flying the football.
Second and
Putting
7
some big
for
hits
Eureka.
on his backs, and every yard's been a hard yard so far.
St. Bernard 7, Eureka nothing. Under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Big Four conference battle at Crusader Field here in Eureka. That's Bodie under center. That's Magana in motion. It's going to be an inside handoff to her, who's going to run straight up the middle and carry the ball out to about the 15-yard line as he picks up 4 yards on that second down run.
By 52, Jacob Smallwood.
Jacob Smallwood back in the game and on the tackle for St. Bernard's.
Gain of 3 brings up 3rd and 4 for the Loggers.
So far today is getting that 3rd and 4. What play is going to
Timeout called by the Loggers.
Defense doing a great job so far.
So this is a good timeout by head coach Matt Tomlin as he calls his second timeout because it's going to be a 3rd down play coming up. So he's stopping the clock, and then if they can stop Eureka on this down, he could maybe call another timeout and force her to punt into the wind on 4th down. So I think that's kind of what he's thinking at this point in time as far as his thought process by calling a timeout with 25 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, certainly, if you can force Eureka to punt into this wind, and it's blowing pretty good, that's going to be an advantage for the Crusaders here.
Victor also covering the game. Redwood News out there working the sidelines.
No trap on offense.
Andrew Butler covering the game for the Time Standard. Keep in mind, because of the power outage later on today, if you want to read Andrew's story, you're going to have to read his story online because it sounds as if the Time Standard is going to be printing Sunday's edition of the paper early today. So this time they're going to give it to her, and her is across the line of scrimmage, and he's going to carry it out to the 21-yard line, which will be good enough for a 1st down.
Brought down by number 7, DeMarte Prudhomme.
Smallwood.
Might be Smallwood who was shaken up on the play. So a very important 3rd down conversion by Eureka.
Too. This is the second time he's been shaken up so far this quarter. So
Being attended to by athletic trainer Lucas Valet, who's been doing a great job for years here at St. Bernard's. Smallwood kind of coming off the field under his own power, but you could tell that he's a little wobbly.
He's a little, something's not right there. So.
Clyde was 75.
Well, he's up there hitting, running into some pretty big linemen for Eureka. They got a good-sized line there. And Smallwood, not packing a lot of weight around in that uniform, but he's certainly fearless. diving in there to try and stop those runs.
And the Loggers are just going to let the clock run out here in the first quarter. So we will take a break in the action. At the end of one quarter, our score is St. Bernard 7, Eureka nothing. And we'll be back with the second quarter right after this timeout.
We haven't thrown the ball to Thrap except that opening play once.
Right.
Thrap hadn't touched the ball.
Well, they're probably doing what Eureka's probably doing
Double.
is something similar to what Del Norte did last week. So is your brother up in Oregon?
Yeah. He's a bar pilot, and he's taking ships in and out of Coos Bay,
Okay.
and they couldn't get away.
So is he watching?
Yes.
Is that Tim?
Yep.
So, Randy, you can watch the game on YouTube and listen to us. If you're okay. Okay, super, thank you. Welcome back to Crusader Field as we get set for the start of the second quarter. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Eureka at their own 21-yard line. And, Coach, your thoughts on what we saw from both teams in the first quarter?
Well, St. Bernard's offense, doing a good job of burning some clock and driving down and scoring. They punted their last possession, but Eureka having trouble moving the ball. St. Bernard's defense doing a great job, and there they are.
Bodie's going to keep it himself on a quarterback draw, and he's going to be hit and tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Elisha Moon, 22, flying in there and
Loss of a yard on the
hit him
play.
before he could get out of his own
2nd and 11 for the
footprints.
Loggers.
And, doing a great job there at that defensive end spot.
The play was kind of slow and developing, and the St. Bernard's defense doing a nice job of reacting to the football.
Yeah, there were 2 players there that were converging on Bodie, and there was nowhere for him to go.
Graham is going to be split to the left. The wingback on the right side is done. And this time, Bodie's going to keep it himself and run to the right, and Bodie doing a nice job. Has enough for a first down as he runs through a couple of tackles before finally being brought down at the 35-yard line. A gain of 16 yards and a first down for the Logger quarterback.
Yeah, kind of a lead play where the quarterback keeps the ball and runs behind a couple of
Out to
lead
their
blockers there.
35-yard
And, he had pretty good success running the ball second half against Fortuna on a number of plays. And he's a very effective runner. All he needs is the block, and he lowers his pads and gets through there. So nice play by him.
So it will be 1st and 10 for the Loggers at the Crusaders 35. Graham is split to the left. And this time they're going to hand the ball off to her, who bounces off of Finoti before being brought down by Hagler after a short game.
Yeah, her kind of hit the back of one of his linemen and chose to go outside instead of inside where there actually was a little bit of a seam.
2nd and 8 for the Loggers.
And her limping off the field now.
Kind of favoring that left leg.
Yeah. Not sure what's going on with him, but last thing Eureka needs is another injury to a starter.
So a gain of just a yard on the play, so it will be 2nd and 9. A little more than 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Crusaders 7, Loggers nothing. Graham split to the right, matched up with Omi. That's Magana in motion to the right. They're going to give it to him on a fly sweep, and then he loses his footing as he's going to be brought down right near the line of scrimmage. And we also have a penalty flag down.
Eureka.
So St. Bernard's is going to accept the penalty. If they would have declined the penalty, it would have been 3rd and about 8.
If you're just tuning in, it's 7-0 St. Bernard's. About the beginning of the second quarter here. 10 minutes and 8 seconds left in the second.
Penalty will move the ball back to the 26-yard line. Good crowd on hand here at Crusader Field. Crosstown rivals battling one another in a conference football game. And this time it's going to be an inside handoff to Bell, who's going to run straight up the middle. And Bell's going to be dragged down near the 31-yard line.
Cole Petrucci.
Cole Petrucci in on the tackle. Gain of about 5 on the play. And it now will be 3rd and 15
for the Loggers.
for the Eureka offense. They started this drive at their own 9.
And that's Antorius Bell, not to be confused with Trevor Bell,
Right.
who's injured on the sidelines.
Trevor Bell is in uniform, but he has not played yet today. He was also in uniform last week against Fortuna and did not play. So Bodie at quarterback on 3rd and 15, looks across the middle, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Dunn coming out of the backfield, and it was a catchable ball near midfield, but Dunn was unable to make the catch.
He got a hand on it. He had to lay out a little bit more for that ball. It was out in front of him just a bit, and but still catchable. You got to. That's the kind of pass you got to leave your feet and try and grab that thing.
So it will be 4th and 15 for the Loggers at their own 31-yard line.
Punter.
Because Herr got hurt.
Yeah, so here's
Looks like that is Bell.
Yeah.
It's Antorius Bell back in punt formation. And this was partially blocked. And it's loose at about the 25, maybe the 30-yard line. And there's a scramble for the ball.
Get flag down.
Got a penalty flag down. Clock stops with 8:59 left in the second quarter, as the officials are going to be forced to sort this one out.
Well, if roughing the kicker, if that ball was blocked, you can't really call roughing the kicker.
Right.
And that's what I believe the St. Bernard sideline is anticipating that's the call. But we haven't seen the call yet. It could be something else.
So Herr, who had punted the first 2 times today for Eureka, suffered a leg injury earlier in the game.
They're calling roughing the kicker. And Coach Tomlin is furious. And
How can they do that when they block it?
If that's a blocked kick, you can't.
Now, Coach Tomlin is not happy at all with the explanation that he is getting from the line judge, Stuart Millar.
That's a terrible
and he
call.
wants to go talk to Wallen Treeherne
That's a terrible call.
because that's a garbage call.
Well,
okay,
it's not a good call at all.
Exactly.
That's a terrible call.
It's a terrible call.
I'm not sure how.
You could hear, I mean, from up here, you could hear that the ball was blocked.
That ball fluttered out sideways. Somebody. Well, Roland's saying that he got a hand on it, just came off his foot bag. That's what his body language is saying to Tomlin out there. So I don't know, but.
So roughing the punter against St. Bernard's will give Eureka a first down at the 46-yard line.
46-yard line.
And I can't wait to ask Roland about that call, and maybe you can do that at halftime as Bodie's going to keep it, and on first down, Bodie's going to be brought down right at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
That first by number 7.
Yeah, no room to run there. And you know what? Calls happen, and now you got to stay focused.
Right.
You know, you get too anxious and you're screaming on the sideline. Sometimes your kids start getting a little
No gain
out
on
of
the play.
whack.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
Calmness at some point is going to have to prevail.
Yeah, because you're going to have to play through it. I mean, it's not going to be something that's going to be overruled.
Nope, can't roll back time.
That's Dunn in motion. They're going to hand it off to him on a fly sweep, and Dunn is going to end up carrying the ball and picking up about 4 yards on the play as he's going to be brought down near midfield.
And we've got
And a holding penalty against Eureka.
Penalty called against the Loggers.
And St. Bernard's will accept that penalty with 8:10 left in the first half, and the Crusaders leading the Loggers 7-0.
You know, one of the things that's starting to become obvious is the speed of these two teams. Eureka's offense is really, these plays are slow and developing, and we're used to seeing so much speed coming out of Eureka High School. And right now, St. Bernard's is flying around the field. They're making Eureka look pretty slow. And, Eureka's big, strong, they can pound the ball a little bit, but well, I tell you what, the Crusaders are showing a lot more speed than the Loggers.
Penalty moves the ball back to the 40-yard line, where it will be 2nd and 17 for the Eureka offense. Backs now are going to be split behind the quarterback, Bodie. And Bodie, this time it's going to be an inside handoff to Bell, who's going to run straight up the middle
Number 5.
to the 43-yard line. And coming up for Eureka, it's going to be 3rd and 14.
Brings up 3rd and 12 for
Some
the
of that
Loggers.
penalty back, not quite all of it, but yeah, now
Their own
Eureka's going to find
44-yard
something
line.
in their bag of tricks for 3rd and long, and we haven't seen them have a lot of big plays. I think maybe 9 yards has been about their best play today so far.
Because of that roughing the punter penalty,
Movement.
now we've got a flag down.
Penalty
Eureka's
flag
had the
down on the
ball
play.
the entire second quarter. They started this drive late in the first quarter, and coming up is the 12th play of the drive, and they're going to be penalized 5 yards
Penalty, repeat 3rd down.
for illegal procedure.
They're giving back quite a few of those roughing the punter penalties now, going in the wrong direction, and
They're down to the Loggers at their
it's
own
not the same as
39-yard
turning the
line.
ball over, but St. Bernard's defense doing a great job, and Eureka's offense just seems a little out of sync. They're just not firing on all cylinders.
Coaches talk about it all the time that you have to get off the field on 3rd and long, and we'll see what happens now as far as how the St. Bernard's defense does on this 3rd and 18 situation. As Bodie is back to pass, he's being pressured, he's looking downfield, and this pass is going to be overthrown. It was intended for Graham, who was bracketed on the play by Thrapp and Omi.
Yeah, the receiver kind of running more of a post, and Bodie throwing more of a streak there. I don't know if they were on the same page or what was going on, but that ball sailed over anybody
flag.
else by quite a ways, and now we're going to get
Might be a sideline
on the
warning.
sideline
That's going to be my guess.
That's an unsportsmanlike.
That's a first down.
Okay, well, you know what? You get fired up about calls and it gets catchy. Now you have an assistant coach getting flagged for 15 yards.
Okay, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty
The offense coming back on the field here.
against the St. Bernard sidelines.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul against the Crusaders.
So this is another 15-yard
First
penalty
down.
against the Crusaders.
Coaching staff.
At the Crusader.
And it's going to be 4th and call it 2 for the Loggers, who still have their offense on the field.
Yeah, I don't know what was said. It was obviously something said, and Coach Tomlin gave an earful to one of his assistants down there, who was actually the coach that drew the flag. So now you go from 4th and a mile to 4th and a long 2 here.
Bodie under center. Now we've got a whistle.
Cold.
And now
Yeah.
Eureka's going to take a timeout.
Timeout called by Eureka.
Matt
Tomlin,
Tomlin
take
try-
a deep breath.
And, I think you're exactly right. I think everybody needs to take a deep breath because a lot at stake, like we talked about earlier, a lot of storylines here. There's really no love lost between these two schools. They're really not rivals, say, in football as much as they are rivals in other sports because they just don't play each other very often in football. This is the second straight year they have played each other because they are both now members of the Big Four Conference. Last time they played prior to last year was back in the 1960s.
And this is this game's important, and it's a close game. It's 7-0, and Eureka's with the aid of a number of penalties
Right.
here, moving the ball up the field a little bit here. This is probably some of the best field position they've had this whole game. And now they've got to find a 3-yard play in their playbook and try and get a first down here.
Coming up is the 14th play of this drive. It's going to be 4th and a long 2 with Bodie under center. Eureka trying
That's
to
false start
draw.
on them.
Bobbing his head.
Yeah, false start on them.
Eureka trying to
Left
draw
back,
St.
left guard.
Bernard's
Well, the
offsides
quarterback was going like, you
instead.
can't do that.
Yeah,
He's
and the
gonna
left
go
guard
for a
moved. He
procedure
actually
penalty
stood up
because it
partially.
appears maybe the
Smallwood's
center
back
might
there.
have moved.
No, I think the
4-10.
quarterback is bobbing his head too
Okay.
hard, and I think you can get called. A quarterback can move his head a little bit, but he was really one of those guys
Bobbing
in
the
the backseat
ball.
of your car in the old days.
Their
Those
own
little
49-yard
tops.
line.
His head was moving excessively, and now the punt team's probably going to come back out. But, That would be my. I didn't see anybody else move except
we got
the
it on
quarterback.
video. It was a whole
I think that's excessive hit.
Okay, we're going to have a timeout. So, Randy, we're going to take a short timeout with 6:43 left in the first half. It's St. Bernard 7, Eureka nothing, and we'll be back with more right after this break. Thank you very much. I'm writing things down that I either want you to find out about or us to talk about on the postgame show, like the roughing the punter, unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, and get an injury update on her too, if we could, if we don't see him come back.
Smallwood came back in the game.
Yeah, Smallwood's back.
Here we go.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
Got their offense out there. They're going for it.
They're going for it. 4th and 8. 6.
I bet you Bodie runs.
So Eureka with their offense back out on the field, and on 4th and 7 they're going to go for it. Bodie's going to keep it himself. He bounces to the outside. He's got the first down. He's inside the 40, inside the 30, inside the 20, being chased by Omi, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown.
I don't see the flag anywhere.
51 yards.
Nice
Touchdown.
flag. Bodie took off, found the edge, got up the sideline, now ran a couple of guys and put the ball in the end zone. So that was one tough series of plays. Bizarre, roughing the kicker.
That was a terrible series.
Penalties back and forth. There must have been 4 penalties in that series, and St. Bernard's doing a really good job on defense, except for this one play. They broke a big one.
So on 4th and 7
Is that who
from the
that
49, Bodie scores on a 51-yard run.
That was a false start on the kicker.
Now they're going to attempt the extra point, and it is up, and
That's a
it is
false start on
good
the
by
kicker.
number
He's running
74,
before the ball
Austin
snap.
Burns. So we'll take a break in the action with 6:31 left in the first half. It's Eureka 7, St. Bernard 7, and we'll be back with more right after this timeout. "15 plays, 91 yards."
That was a tough series.
Yeah. Bodie, touchdowns? What do we got for him?
Let's see, where are we?
Probably going to be top, far right.
Scoring. Bodie, that is
He's third. Okay, thank you.
Where's Justin?
Is he not in?
I know, I just hadn't seen him make any plays.
What's that?
Hagler. I think he's putting in
15
quarterback.
Look at this. Here's that play.
Here's the kick, roughing the kicker play. See if it's blocked.
Okay, we're going to check the roughing the punter here.
You better film though.
You watch it, I'll talk.
Just turn around.
Welcome back to Crusader Field. Loggers getting set to kick as we're watching kind of an instant replay of that block punt, or that roughing the punter,
It was a block.
depending on what way you ended up looking at it.
Well, the replay shows us a block punt.
Yes. Look at this short kick. That Moon's going to field at about the 42-yard line, and he's going to be brought down immediately on a nice tackle by Dunn. So a very impressive scoring drive by Eureka that was aided by a couple of costly penalties against St. Bernard's, a roughing the punter penalty, and then also an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the St. Bernard's coaching staff. Eureka takes advantage of that. They go 91 yards in 15 plays. They score on a 51-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Bodie, his third of the season. That was on a 4th and 7 play, and now St. Bernard's on first down. Omi's going to keep it himself, and he's going to carry the ball out to the 47-yard line as he picks up 5 yards on that first down run.
Well, you can't be upset about St. Bernard's being frustrated with that bad call on roughing the kicker. I don't understand it. We'll try and get an explanation, but the bench is 15-yarder was another big one, and you can't do that. You got to keep your kids calm and focused, and your coaches calm.
2nd and 5, they fake the handoff to Finotti. Omi's going to keep it himself, and he's going to carry the ball to midfield, where he will be 2 yards short of the first down. Jack Hill making the tackle for the Loggers.
He's doing a pretty good job on the ground here. A few passes as well, having a typical Omi game where he hurts you with his legs and his arm, and doing a good job so far.
7-7 our score. A little more than 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Finoti now in the backfield. It's going to be 3rd and short. Got some movement along the line of scrimmage. St. Bernard's thought Eureka might have ended up in the neutral zone, but there's no call. And now Omi's going to keep it himself, and he's got enough for a first down before being on the receiving end of a big hit by the opposing quarterback, Bodie, who really stood him up at the 45-yard line, but then Omi bounces right back up after picking up 6 yards and a first down.
Yeah, it was a hard hit, a good clean hit. It looked like a shoulder hit, and that's where you always worry when a runner's vertical like that. They stand to take some big hits.
Hand the ball to Justin.
This time the handoff is to Finoti, and Finoti's going to run straight ahead for a couple yards. Bodie back in the starting lineup at safety. He was the starting safety until he replaced Trevor Bell at quarterback, so he hasn't played much defense the last couple of weeks, but he's in there today replacing Menka Vang, who was the starting safety, but he suffered a concussion in the Fortuna game last week.
Eureka's trying to keep a lot of patches on the tire.
2nd and 8. There's Omi keeping himself, and Omi's inside the 40 to the 38-yard line, where he will be about 3 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, good news for Eureka's Keith Err is back out there making the tackle on that play, and looks like he's got some nice clean tape on his ankles, and he's moving around a little better. So
3rd and 4 for the Crusaders.
So it's going to be 3rd and a long 3 for St. Bernard. Just under 4 minutes remaining. Omi's going to keep it himself, and Omi being very patient. Find some running room, but we've got a couple of penalty flags down, as Omi was able to pick up enough for a first down.
Penalty flag on the play.
But I think this one's going to come back because of a holding call against St. Bernard's.
yeah, I think they're going to.
Holding called against the Crusaders.
It's great that on every play you get a reaction from one sideline or the other. You can tell that
Fans are into it.
yeah, that this is a rivalry game. You've got only place in Humboldt County where you have 2 high schools in the same city, which is the case today. And now they're conference rivals, at least in football, with realignment going into effect in 2018. Who knows what will happen in 2020.
Well, with 3.5 minutes left to play, it's 7-7, so this is a close game. And
3rd and 13, Omi's going to keep it himself, and Omi is still on his feet before being shoved out of bounds.
Omi with the carry.
That's Graham making the tackle for Eureka, kind of riding Omi out of bounds, and on the play, Antorius Bell is down. He's down behind the line of scrimmage.
looks like he's in a lot of pain.
He now appears to be
Hurt.
Writhing around.
holding his head, holding his neck as he was shaken up on the play.
Well, everything in his hands and feet are moving, so
Right.
that's a good sign, but we'll see.
He's being attended to by the Eureka training staff. Here comes assistant coach Mo Purify, and
Maybe a left shoulder kind of area. They're moving his left arm a little bit.
head coach Jason White, Lucas Valet also out there. So Omi on the play carried the ball to the 39-yard line, where it now will be 4th and 4 for St. Bernard's, with 3:34 remaining in the first half. Just a friendly reminder that if you'd like to watch today's game and listen to our broadcast, you can go to YouTube Live and click on Crusader Football. Thanks to Chuck Petrucia and Dr. Luke Omi. They've got everything set up. And then their IT guy, Sean, was here earlier. I want to say hello to Chuck's brother, Tim, who's up in the Coos Bay area. Hopefully.
He's moving pretty good now. I mean, the way he was driving around on the ground, I thought,
Yeah, they
world, it looked
Might have
pretty
just
bad.
been a snigger, coach. Who knows?
It could be, yeah, because those hurt. And
So we want to send our
Arm
best to
goes dead, and yeah, you're not fun.
want to send our best to Tim, who's hopefully enjoying the broadcast. Also want to say hi to the Hagler family that's in Idaho and also in Michigan. And then Justin's dad, Mike, unable to be here for the game. He is working today. So we want to send our best to everybody out there who's enjoying the game on the radio and on the internet, and then also watching it on YouTube. As Eureka will take a timeout, we'll take a break with 3:32 remaining in the first half. Crusaders 7, Loggers 7, and we'll be back with more right after this timeout. Yeah, we are. Are we clear? Okay, thanks. We're clear, right? Super.
It was a timeout.
Eureka called the timeout, so I figured I'd squeeze in a break.
That was their fourth timeout. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're ready. We're ready.
Nope, didn't get it.
Omi with the carry.
On 4th and 4, Omi keeps it himself, and he's going to be stopped short of a first down. So the Loggers will take over after stopping St. Bernard's on downs.
Yeah, running a power play, just a quarterback keep power play behind Finodi and Hagler blocking out to the left here. And Bodie flying up again from his safety position, making a big play right at the line of scrimmage and stopping the St. Bernard's fourth down attempt. So Eureka defense kind of coming around here. They gave up the first possession for St. Bernard's. It got carved up pretty bad, and since then they've been holding the ground pretty well.
So it will be 1st and 10 for the Eureka offense at the 37-yard line. That's done in motion. Bodie's going to keep it himself. Bodie's going to try to get to the edge, and he's going to be tripped up on a nice open field tackle by Thrapp, and he's going to end up losing a yard on the play. As St. Bernard's doing a better job of kind of stringing that play out.
Yeah, Thrapp doing a great job coming up from the safety spot and cutting off Bodie before he could get to the sideline. And
Cole
nice
Lost
defensive
the yard on the play. Bring it up
Crusaders
2nd
there.
11 for
3
the
minutes
Loggers.
left to play. It's 7-7. It is a tight game. This is anybody's football game right now, and a few bizarre things happening, but it's a close one.
Eureka's out of timeout. St. Bernard's has 1 timeout remaining. That's Magania in motion. And now we've got a couple of flags down. And we have a couple of players down. Clock stops with 2:40 left in the half, and it's going to be a procedure penalty against the Eureka offense.
Both wings moving, and you can't do that. So
You can't do that.
you can't put 2 guys in motion. No.
Unless you're in Canada. Can you do it? You can do it in Canada.
I'm not sure. They can do all kinds of things
Yes.
in Canada, like motion toward the line of scrimmage
Sure.
at full speed, and they, trying to time the snap of those receivers hitting their best 40 time mark as they hit the line of scrimmage. But that's a different part of the world.
So it will be 2nd and long. It's going to be 2nd and 16 for Bodie and the Eureka offense. And Bodie is going to keep it on a quarterback draw. And he's got some running room again as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and picks up a couple of additional yards out to about the 40-yard line. And it will be 3rd and 7 for Eureka.
Well, obviously Eureka's found the one weapon that's working best for them. That's probably running the football. He hasn't thrown the ball very effectively today at all, and the wing T plays, your standard traps and sweeps just aren't producing much for the Loggers. So it's Bodie carrying the ball has been their bread and butter so far.
And I think we're now seeing that from both teams with Omi and Bodie really kind of carrying their respective offenses. Now we've got trips to the right on 3rd and 7. Bodie this time is going to keep it again, and he is going to be stopped near the line of scrimmage as he is going to be brought down by Hagler. And now St. Bernard's is going to call a timeout with 1:21 remaining in the first half. So we're going to keep it right here. St. Bernard's using their final timeout after they did a nice job of stopping Bodie well short of a first down.
Yeah, Eureka running trips to the right and running back to the left, trying to get St. Bernard's defense to overcommit to the trips formation, but Eureka hasn't scared anybody throwing the football today. So St. Bernard stayed home, played their assignments, and stopped Bodie on a little off tackle run there, and doing a great job on that particular play.
So the clock stops with 1:21 left in the first half. I believe that was the Crusaders' final timeout. Hope everybody's ready for that power outage that we're expecting here on the North Coast later on today. We've heard conflicting reports, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Are you and all your friends in Hydesville ready to go, Coach?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Fortunately, us and most of our neighbors, we've got these travel horse trailers that have lights and showers, hot water, and the whole thing. So if need be, we can always do a little camping out in the horse trailers.
So Herr is back in punt formation. The line of scrimmage is the 40. High snap. Herr's going to get the punt away. This is a better effort. And it's going to take a Eureka bounce before being fielded by Trapp at the 8-yard line. Trapp's going to try to get to the edge, and Trapp is still on his feet before being brought down at about the 20-yard line. So St. Bernard's will take over deep in their own territory with 1:05 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, Herr kind of making up for his first couple punts. That one with the tailwind went quite a ways. Trapp getting a few yards back, but St. Bernard's with their worst starting position, I think, today, down in their own 20.
A 52-yard punt and a 12-yard return, and St. Bernard's will start this drive at their own 20 with 1:05 remaining in the first half. Both teams are out of timeout. St. Bernard's will receive the second half kickoff, and Omi this time on a quarterback draw is going to run straight ahead and pick up a couple yards on the play.
With a short gain on the play.
What is he doing? Okay.
Yeah, that hole closed pretty quickly.
They got a giant line, and we're running our quarterback up the middle of it.
From the St. Bernard's offense to this point, and
I think we would throw the ball once.
Clock continues to move. It's going to be 2nd and 9 for St. Bernard's at the 21-yard line. That's Hagler in motion. Omi this time wants to throw it. He looks downfield, and it's going to be caught by Patricia, who then ends up juggling the ball. Now they're going to say it's going to be recovered by Eureka. Logan Patricia made the catch. It was a nice throw by Omi as he threaded the needle, and then Logan took a couple of steps and the ball just popped loose, and it's going to be recovered by Eureka at the 45-yard line.
Nice
so our
pattern.
First turnover of the game, Coach.
Nice pattern, nice catch, and then ball got away from him after he made a football move, or 2 or 3. He had a few steps there, and unfortunately,
Eureka
didn't hang on to the
ball
football,
first and
and
10.
that's a turnover.
around
Eureka gets
45
it back
yards.
here with just about 20 seconds left to play in a tie football game. See if they can dial up a big play here and do something with it.
So that's going to be Graham split to the right. It's going to be 1st and 10 out the 45-yard line. Crusaders show blitz. As Bodie sprints out to his left, looks downfield, and the pass is going to be caught as the catch is going to be made by Graham, who instead of stepping out of bounds, cuts back and is going to pick up a first down to the 40-yard line. Clock stops with 11.2 seconds remaining. Bodie is now under center, and he's going to spike the ball and stop the clock.
Yeah, that play would have been just about perfect for Eureka had he turned, the receiver turned to his right and stepped out of bounds. He was right on the sidelines. He turned it back up the field, trying to break the big one, and ran right into all of St. Bernard's pursuit there. So a little mental error by the receiver with under 20 seconds left to play. You got to be looking for the sidelines.
They're going to put some time back on the clock. They're going to add 1.2 seconds to the clock. So there's going to be 8 seconds remaining in the first half. It's going to be 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line with Herr in the backfield. and Bodie at quarterback. We've got trips to the right, and we've got Del Norte head coach Nick White in the press box. Bodie this time will roll to his right, being chased by Finotti. Wants to kind of air it out and throws it downfield, and the pass is incomplete as the clock stops with 0.6 of a second remaining in the first half.
They're going to get another play.
We only get one more play here, and barring a defensive penalty.
Sure.
And we'll see what happens. But
Recent.
not having a ton of success throwing the football. I think that last pass is their best passing play of the day so far.
Nick White, of course, the head coach at Del Norte High School, younger brother of Eureka head coach Jason White. Kind of become a regular at halftime. He's got his own halftime show. He visited with you and JB at Albee Stadium last Saturday, and he's nice enough to stop by and talk football with us at halftime today. Going to be 3rd and 10. There's the horn as Bodie looks downfield, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Graham, and Graham was covered on the play by Omi as the horn sounds, ending the first half. So make sure you stay with us at halftime. We're going to talk football with Coach White, as in Nick White. We're going to recap the scoring in the first half. We're going to look at some first half numbers. We're going to take a look at the scoreboard. And we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the first half and what we can expect to see in the second half. So our score at halftime, the Eureka Loggers 7, the St. Bernard's Crusaders 7, and we'll be back with the halftime show right after this break. Perfect. Thanks, Randy.
Couldn't have the same coach.
So are you on the move? You're going to go check on a couple things?
I'm going to go check things, and we'll talk to me.
Okay, Rollins talking Coach Tomlin right now, so thanks, Coach. You need anything?
No.
Snacks? We got jerky, apples.
Good.
You're all set? Okay. You got it. You drive home last night and came back to bed?
No, I stayed at the river.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay. Did your brother stay or did he go back?
He went back yesterday.
He went. Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you just stayed at Bear River last night?
Yeah.
Who'd you stay with?
A couple of my coaches were there.
Good.
And so we got to hang out. And it was fun. And
Good
then,
for you guys.
Came here and watching the game
Perfect.
today, so yeah.
So you have to go, when do you have to go back to work?
Tonight at 10.
Tonight at 10. So do you and your brother, are you guys doing the same type of thing up there at the prison?
Yeah, we're both officers. He works on the afternoon shift, and I work the graveyard shift.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you guys are officers then? Is that as
Yeah.
far as law enforcement then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Did you guys start there about the same time?
Yeah. Yep. Exact same time. I've been up there for about 12 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Okay. 10 seconds. Welcome to the halftime show. Our score at halftime, the Eureka Loggers 7, the St. Bernard's Crusaders 7. And joining us at halftime for the second straight week, it's an honor to talk football with this guy. We talk football on a regular basis. In fact, we've been talking on a regular basis of late, just based on the fact that we've had Del Norte 3 times in the last 4 weeks or so. And joining us at halftime, the head coach of the Del Norte Warriors, Nick White. And Coach, first off, congratulations on your impressive win over Fortuna last night, 20-7, and thanks for stopping by and joining us at halftime today.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, let's talk about your win last night. 2 teams that are very well coached, 2 teams that are similar in their style as far as what they like to do. Let's talk a little bit about your game plan, because you and the Huskies had played 4 weeks earlier up in Crescent City. How do you approach a situation like that, where you're playing someone you've already played and somebody that you're very familiar with as far as putting together your game plan?
Right. I mean, for the most part, teams are who they are, so you definitely get a chance to know who they are from our very first game, and then you're going to put in wrinkles here or there. I mean, both sides will, and then, but it's when it comes to the nuts and bolts of it, Fortuna's going to do what they do on offense with a couple wrinkles. We're going to do what we do with a few wrinkles here and there, just to try to throw each other off. And, each team did that last night. We put in some things. They put in a couple couple different things, and those are the adjustments you're looking for in the game. But yeah, it's hard facing a Fortuna team that, you know, is really well coached, and we play them 2 times. Last year we played them 3 times, so the last 2 years we played them 5 times. You know, and you get to know each other real well. And I mean, the good part about that is the kids know what to expect. They know what to expect in formations. They've been there, they've done that in the games against them. So, you know, I think that was an advantage of, you know, we had a lot of returners from last year, so those kids know what's going on. You know, they have an idea of what the play is before it actually happens. So.
And I know coaches look at it differently, and you would think the team that won the first matchup would have an advantage in the rematch. I mean, do you look at it that way as a head coach?
You know, you feel better about it because you already beat that team. Definitely.
Just from a confidence standpoint.
Sure, of course. And the kids feel good. Hey, we beat this team. You know, we know we can beat them again. Definitely. But it's, you know, it's not any easier as far as game planning and get going. The feeling that you get going into the we knew it was going to be a battle. It was their senior night. It's always hard to win at Fortuna. And, you know, however the game comes out, and you get a win, we'll take it. It doesn't matter how it happened, how many points, none of that stuff matters. We'll take a win. And in this league, it's always really hard because everybody knows each other so well because you coach against that team every single year. You know, Eureka does what their offense does. St. Bernard's runs a spread. They do it every year. So, you know, it's super hard. Like this game right here, 77. Because each team knows each other real well. The defenses are playing great on both sides.
Visiting with first-year Del Norte head coach Nick White. And Coach, ultimately, what was the difference last night? You've had a chance now to kind of process what happened last night in the friendly city. What was the difference in the game last night for your team?
Right. Our defense is really good. I think we're the best defense up here on the North Coast, and they set the tone every game. The kids attack, they play hard. We lead the section in tackles for a loss. And they're aggressive. That's why, because they're so aggressive. We get after people, and then our offense, you know, controls the ball. We controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides was the main part. Made some key plays, you know, we needed to make them, and ultimately that's what, you know, it came down to was the line of scrimmage on both sides.
And with what's happened this year, that's a pretty good recipe for success. Being able to run the football and playing good defense, and when you put those two things together, that's one reason you guys have done as well as you have.
Yeah, we have. That was the plan going into the year. We've been in, you know, we lost one game and had a chance to win on the last part of the game, and it didn't happen. It's something that I think being a good thing for us, as far as not being always so too confident going into games. You know, it set us back a little bit, but in the long run, it's helped us out. And it's, you know, every game. Going forward will be tough. The weather's going to get worse, so running the football and playing good defense is, you know, that's the playoff recipe for sure.
Warriors are having a lot of fun right now. I've had a chance to see you play 3 times in the last 4 weeks. Twice against Fortuna, once against St. Bernard's. Hey, the energy's very impressive. You guys are flying around. The energy, you guys are playing at a very high level. Everybody's very passionate. You guys are having a lot of fun right now, including the coaching staff and the players. And it really seems like your team right now is running on all cylinders.
Yeah, we are. It's always fun when you win, but it's practices, the games. We love playing football. We love coaching the kids. You know, they do such a great job, and it's the payoff in the game. It's fun. We get excited. We like to have fun. We like to keep the energy up. Sure. Is what we do. That's you know, with kids nowadays, they're a little bit different than they were back in the day. So now it's music at practice, and you know, you bring in all these things, you know, that kids like, and it keeps them motivated. It keeps them active. It keeps everything good and happy, positive energy all the time. So that's you know what we try to do for sure.
Okay, you've been around the game for a long time. Mm-hmm. You've played for a lot of great coaches. You've coached with a lot of great coaches. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your coaching style and your philosophy and some of the people that have influenced you, starting with your high school coach, the great Jack Boyer.
Yeah, that's where everything starts from with Coach Moyer, he was
With all you Fort Bragg guys, with all you Timberwolves.
Yeah, it's a great tradition at Fort Bragg. I couldn't ask for anything more growing up in that program, and they molded us what we are today. With hard work, discipline. Those are the two main things that you come out of that. And it's Fort Bragg's a lot like these towns. It's small towns. Sure. It's the blue collar. So that's where it starts with Coach Moyer and Coach Perkins, who's there right now.
Sure.
But those were the two catalysts of that program for a long time, and obviously Roy's still there to this day.
Then you played at CR, then you played at Humboldt.
Yeah, and you go to CR, and we were really good at CR for 2 years. Played with a lot of good dudes. We all came together and kind of just gelled as a team. It doesn't always happen because you got so many guys coming from different places, but had a really good experience there. And then at Humboldt, didn't have quite as much success at Humboldt as we did at CR, but just a great group of guys. Good coaches we got coached by, so it was just the whole football experience, and it's I love football, man. That's what I do. That's why I coach. It's
and then you're having fun coaching with your twin brother. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
It is.
Now, how often do people mistake the two of you? Does it happen all the time?
It does, but
I know you guys have had some fun with it through the years, right?
Oh, definitely. There's people, unless you know us, you can't tell us apart. Once people get to know us, they know. Like our coaching staff knows who. Sure. They never get us mixed up. So once you know our personalities and
and you guys got a little bit of a different look as far as from a fashion. I mean, you guys are GQ kind of guys. I mean, Tomlin's not. Your brother's kind of past his prime.
Right.
Benbow. He's not making a fashion statement, but with both you and Chris, I mean, you've kind of got that look. You're kind of like that Kingsbury guy with Arizona or some of those other guys, kind of a new age coaching with that look of yours.
Yeah, we just
because you guys do look the part.
Try to keep it young, try to keep it positive.
Keep it young, keep it smooth.
Yeah, it's it's just the whole vibe you put out, and the kids respond. They like the younger, exciting, that kind of thing. So we try to bring that. I'll probably tone it down, definitely.
Because I was worried last night after the game. You were bouncing off a lot of guys. I mean, I saw Baugh come at you. I said, hey, this might not be good. Some of your big guys, King and Baugh, and I'm kind of going, okay.
Baugh got up on that one, too.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a mismatch as you were bouncing off your guys after the win before you talked with your team last night.
Right. I'm just lucky we only have 20 kids. So
exactly.
I don't think I could have kept going. My legs are sort of walking up to the booth last night. So, it's all about fun and having fun with the kids.
Okay, before we talk about the first half of this game, as we're visiting with Del Norte head coach Nick White, who's nice enough to come by and join us at halftime. The only thing that I've seen in your 3 games that we have called is the fact that sometimes you have trouble getting out of your own way as far as making mistakes and too many penalties. And I know that that's something that's frustrating to you and your coaching staff. How do you go about cleaning things up?
Honestly, it's been like that all year.
It has been. Okay.
It's, you try to clean it up with fundamentals, but when a philosophy is when one team is always more aggressive than the other team, the refs tend to call more penalties. Okay. Because we're
playing to the whistle.
We're playing to the whistle. Right. We're putting people on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It might look like holding, or anyway.
So you guys can try to do what you can. You don't want the kids to back off.
We do what we can, but I've literally told my kids, do not pancake people anymore.
Okay.
Because we're being too physical. I don't think a lot of refs have seen how physical we actually are.
Okay.
And hey, he took that kid to the ground, it has to be holding. No, he had really
just
good
finished his block.
He finished his block. He put him on the ground like he's supposed to. And honestly, we're super aggressive, but I've told the O-line to don't pancake people anymore.
Okay.
So, because we need to adjust to them. They're not used to us being so aggressive, but I don't want to back them off too much, and I don't want to put too much of a restraint.
So you're trying to find that balance. It's
very hard to find it because we got a lot of kids that like to hit and like to be really physical. So, and it's about adjusting, but you're not trying to hold them back too much, because then you're taking away what we're really good at.
Okay, let's get your thoughts on the first half of this game, because I think most people probably would be surprised. It's only 7-7 at halftime with your older brother, Jason White, on the opposite sidelines. He spent 2 years as the head coach here at St. Bernard's. This is his 7th year at Eureka High School. And there's no secret, there's a little rivalry when it comes to football, as far as there being a little bit of, bad blood. You got two schools that are in the same city. They haven't played each other that often in football, but you can tell the energy's pretty good. This is an important game and a big game for both programs. And your thoughts on what we saw in the first half?
Yeah, it's a huge game for both of them. If Eureka wins, they're right back in the league race. And St. Bernard's is 0-1, but they're trying to get right back in it too. So, huge game for both sides. Definitely rivalry, because they're pretty much across the street from each other. But it's gone good. It hasn't surprised me one bit. Each team knows what each other does, and it depends on, it's still going to be low scoring, and it depends who makes plays down the stretch is who's going to win.
And you can tell both teams well prepared for one another.
Yeah.
Both teams well coached. Both teams kind of had their moments, but maybe from a halftime adjustment standpoint, if you're your older brother, Jason White, you don't wear a hat because your hair looks so good. But as far as from a coaching standpoint, put your coaching hat on. If your older brother, Jason White, what are some of the things that he's talking about with his team at halftime?
Right. He's going to come out and run the ball to his quarterback. They've had success on. Look for that. And then that's been their biggest plays, is kind of getting in the spreading the defense out a little bit, running some zone read stuff with the quarterback. So they'll do that. He'll probably still try to pound the ball a little bit. And then as far as defensively, I think they're playing pretty well. St. Bernard's hasn't passed the ball a ton, so I think the wind comes into play, but I expect them to try to get the ball to Lane Thrapp, who main playmaker.
Okay, so if you're St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin, what kind of adjustments are you considering making in the second half?
I would say throw the ball more.
Okay.
I think he's going to look to throw the ball, find the windows, that are open. There's a few windows open in the passing game, so we'll see if he can take advantage of those. And then I think defensively they're playing well. They're holding them. They had the one big play they gave up on the zone read. So that's as far as St. Bernard's goes, that's their main adjustment at halftime, is to stop the zone read and stop the quarterback from running the ball.
Coach, as always, I always enjoy talking football with you, whether you were as an assistant coach, you now have your own post-game show with John and John. I know they really enjoy visiting with you after the game. I know JB and Dave had a great time talking football with you last Saturday night at Albee Stadium, and we can't thank you enough for coming by and joining us today at halftime. Enjoy the second half.
Yeah.
Enjoy your trip back up to Crescent City, and good luck against your older brother next Friday night at Mike Whalen Field, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, Tay. Appreciate it. It'll be a big game for us next week, and we're looking forward to it. But appreciate it. Hey, stop by anytime.
All right, Nick White, the head coach of the Del Norte Warriors, nice enough to stop by and join us at halftime. Our score at halftime, St. Bernard 7, Eureka 7, and we'll be back with more right after this timeout. All right, thanks, Randy. Coach White, thank you. That was great, man. JB would be proud of you. Okay, did you learn anything?
Well, the explanation that Tomlin got was that the defender
Yes, Randy.
hit the punter before he hit the ball.
Okay. Southern Humboldt shut down at 7 o'clock tonight, so we're okay. Okay, super. All right, back to you. Randy was just telling me about that alert.
Tomlin said that Rollin told him that the defense hit the punter while he was still holding the ball before he hit the ball.
Oh.
And Tomlin said, well, he's live if he's holding the ball. So,
That's a terrible call.
it made no sense. So just
Welcome back to Crusader Field as we get set for the start of the second half. St. Bernard's will be receiving the second half kickoff, and I apologize for the feedback here. I'm going to try to get rid of that here in a second as far as what's going on. Coach Filippini, your thoughts on what happened in the first half?
Well, it's a close game. It's turning into a defensive struggle here, but we're getting used to seeing some of these low-scoring games late in the season here. Defenses have been stepping up and playing pretty good, and we're one great drive by the Crusaders, put them in the end zone. One big play by the Loggers, put them in the end zone, and St. Bernard's doing a good job playing a big school here, even at halftime.
So St. Bernard's got on the scoreboard first with 4:28 left in the first quarter. 8 plays, 45 yards, a 5-yard touchdown run by Omi, his 9th touchdown of the season. And on the second half kickoff, we've got a flag down over on the far side of the field. The extra point was good by Perez Estrada, as St. Bernard's ended up scoring on their first possession of the game to jump out to a 7-0 lead. And then Eureka scored on a 4th and 7 play on a 51-yard touchdown run by their quarterback Bodie, his 3rd touchdown of the season. That capped off a 15-play, 91-yard drive as they score with 6:31 left in the second quarter. The extra point was good by Burns, and we are tied as we get set for the start of the second half at 7. The penalty is going to be against Eureka, so now Eddie Perez will be kicking off from the 35-yard line. And after the second half kickoff, we're going to get an explanation on that roughing the punter penalty, as this kick is going to end up, sailing out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. So you did have an opportunity to talk with the referee, Roland Treherne.
No, I talked to Coach Tomlin.
Okay.
Coach Tomlin was getting an explanation from Roland Treherne,
which was happening at the end of the first half, right?
So according to Coach Tomlin, the explanation was that the defender hit the punter before touching the football, and therefore was a penalty, which I have to completely, if that's actually what he said, I got to say, no, I don't believe that's accurate, because if he's holding the football,
he can be tackled.
He can be tackled for a sack or whatever, and so that did not make any sense at all. So I don't know, unless there's some rule I don't know about.
Right. And that's a question for Roland as far as his interpretation.
Right. So obviously, Coach Tomlin not happy with the explanation, and I wouldn't have been either if that's accurate. So
now Perez will kick off from the 30-yard line, and this time he kicks it away, and it's going to be a good kick. That's going to be taken by Thrapp, as Thrapp has to retreat to pick it up at the 7-yard line. And Thrapp, with a little running room, is across the 20, is across the 25, and out to the 28-yard line, where the St. Bernard's offense will take over to start the second half.
Well, we'll see who makes the adjustments at halftime, and
First and 10
if they find
Crusaders.
any weaknesses out there on either side. And
The 28-yard line.
Christensen saying it's 7-0 here with 3:34 left in the first. Not saying who's ahead, but I'm assuming it's Ferndale. So.
Empty backfield. Got trips to the right. Now we have some movement on the left side of the offensive line, and I believe.
I think it was a Crusader moved. I didn't see which one.
I think it was number 52, Jacob Smallwood,
The Crusaders 5-yard penalty.
who's lined up at left tackle, may have moved. So that will move it back to the 23-yard line, where it will be 1st and 15. Now we have trips to the left. Split to the right is Joyner. Slot right is Thrapp. Split left is Logan Petrucia. And slot left is Hagler and Finotti. Omi operating out of an empty backfield. 1st and 15. And Omi's just going to keep it on a quarterback draw, and he's got some running room as he's across the 25, across the 30, and out to the 31-yard line as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and picks up a couple of additional yards, where it will now be 2nd and 8.
On the play, bring it up 2nd and 8 for the Crusaders.
St. Bernard's with their hurry-up, no-huddle offense. There's Finotti now in motion. He's going to line up in the backfield next to Omi. They fake the handoff to Finotti. They look downfield for Thrapp, who makes a nice catch
at the 47-yard line before being brought down by Bodie. And Throp doing a nice job, making a nice adjustment, Coach.
Right, finding the open spot and the zone defense out there that Eureka's playing. And, we saw Del Norte take Thrap out of the game last week. I think that's Thrap's second catch of the game so far today, which is not a lot for him based on what we've seen prior to the start of the league play. But he's a dangerous weapon, and Eureka's, going to have to think about doing some coverage on him.
Gain of 22 yards and a first down, and Omi once again is going to keep it on a quarterback draw. And he's going to run straight up the middle and pick up 3 yards on the play. Speaking of Thrap coming into today's game, 40 catches for 1,057 yards, averaging 26.4 yards per reception, and he has caught 18 touchdown passes. Gain of 2 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 8 as the St. Bernard's offense looks over to the sidelines to get the play call from head coach and offensive coordinator Matt Tomlin. Omi looks out in the flat, dumps it off to Finoti, and Finoti is going to end up having the ball jarred loose by number 88, Jared Berger, as Finoti wasn't able to hold on to it, Coach.
Yeah, and you know what? Hagler just completely missed the block on
Right.
number 88 over here. It's a little kind of a bubble screen type of play, and Hagler's got to block that guy who just shot right across Hagler's face and hit Finoti as the ball arrived.
So 3rd and 7 at the Eureka 45. Empty backfield for Omi. As Omi's going to drop back, he's going to spin it. He completes it to Hagler, who makes the catch. Hagler's still on his feet. 30, 20, 15, 10. Cuts back, and he's finally going to be dragged down inside the 5-yard line. So Hagler bounces back after missing a block, makes a catch in traffic on a well-thrown ball by Omi, and then makes a couple of nice moves in the open field before finally being brought down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, I was going to say, we keep talking about Thrap only having 2 catches, but Hagler's been MIA this whole game until this play. And that was a huge play. That put St. Bernard's down real close and real good chance to score here.
Pitch and catch of 42 yards from Omi to Thrap, and the Crusaders are knocking on the door. It's going to be 1st and goal at the Eureka 3-yard line. Thrap is going to be split to the right. Now they kind of have that jumbo formation. Direct snap to Omi, and Omi trying to find a hole is going to fall forward as he is going to be stopped just short of the goal line near the 1-yard line.
Yeah, big pile of bodies there. And looks like he's going to be 1.5, maybe 2-yard line here. It'll be 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and goal.
Yeah, they run that jumbo formation and try and get a whole
About
bunch
the
of
1-yard
blockers
line.
going. He's got some big kids over there, so it's
Big kids over there. Why do we do it?
Going to be 2nd and goal. They give it to Omi, and Omi's into the end zone for the touchdown. So Omi scores his 2nd touchdown of the game, and St. Bernard's is back in front 13-7.
Yeah, huge play by Hagler there, busting that thing loose and running all over the field and avoiding blockers. Great stiff arm of the first defender that got close to him, and did a great job of getting that ball inside the 5.
Omi with his 10th touchdown of the season, as Perez Estrada will attempt the extra point. Spot kick is up and good. So we're going to take a break in the action with 9:14 left in the 3rd quarter. Got a late flag down, so we're going to hang on for just a quick second before we throw it back to Randy.
Send someone out to the street to get that football and sail.
And it's going to be roughing the kicker against St. Bernard. So that penalty will be assessed against Eureka. Will be assessed on the ensuing kickoff. So we're going to take a break in the action with 9:14 left in the 3rd quarter at St. Bernard's 14, Eureka 7, and we'll be back with more right after this break. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Everything sound okay? Yeah, we had our wires crossed, and now I think we're okay. I think we're set. Yeah, we're fine. I usually can pick up on it in my headset. So you talked to Tomlin. Did you talk to Coach White? Or just Jason?
No, I just got him back over here. I didn't have a whole lot to say.
Tomlin?
Yeah.
What's new? Did you hear that? Oh, yeah, he called me the next day and apologized. He just felt terrible about it. So, oh, I know. I told him that. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Right. No. Right. Thanks, Coach.
It'll be an onside.
So Perez Estrada will now kick off from the Eureka 45. So do you try to maybe onside in this situation, knowing full well you could just kick it in the end zone if you want, and that's what they're going to do.
Well, he died in the wind up there.
And it's going to be taken by Eureka at about the 10-yard line, and it's going to be returned to about the 20. As St. Bernard's here in the third quarter is going into the wind, so Eureka's got the wind at their backbone.
About 20 yards.
That kick came off foot nice, but it got up in the wind and it just flat died. And so I don't know if onside would have been good there, but everyone's expecting that out of St. Bernard's, and everyone's got their hands team up front and ready to go every time St. Bernard's kicks off. So first couple of kicks were touchbacks, and that worked to St. Bernard's advantage. And actually, Eureka's back on their own 20 here because of the penalties.
First down at the 20. Bodie wants to throw. Is going to look downfield, but the pass is almost intercepted by Omi at the 3rd-yard line, as it was intended for Graham, who was well covered by Omi.
Yeah, it looked like everyone trying some kind of a comeback route there, a little hook route, but Omi had inside position, and he did a better job of coming back to the ball than the receiver did, and Bodie's ball sailed inside a little bit. I'm wondering, I've talked to a lot of quarterbacks. Wind is a much worse enemy than rain or anything else when you're trying to throw the football. And it's really blowing out there.
Bodie under center, and on 2nd and 10, he's going to hand the ball off, and St. Bernard's does a nice job defensively because the ball carrier for Eureka is going to pick up just a couple of yards. It looked like that was her, and he's going to be brought down after a short gain at the 22-yard line. St. Bernard's making some.
Around out there. He's coming off the field. Looks like
Demetrius Rawson is going to check out as he's replaced by number 51, Harmon Daniels. Not a problem at all. It's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Loggers. Bodie is under center. That's done in motion, and they've got kind of a pile-up right at the line of scrimmage. And St. Bernard's does a great job of defending that play. And the Loggers are going to be stopped after a very short game.
Well, you got to hand it to the Crusaders defense. I mean, they're outside the line in the middle there, and boy, they are really stuffing up the middle of that field. They've been doing it all day. And
Eureka has not had a lot of success running between the tackles. They've had some success getting to the outside. So it's going to be 4th and 5 at the 25. That's Thrapp back in punt formation. Look at this high snap. And Herr is going to be tackled back at the 12-yard line. It was a high snap. Herr had to try to go up and get it, but then he was under a heavy rush, and he didn't even have an opportunity to get the punt away.
Yeah, that ball kind of floated too. It took forever for the ball to get there. And Caruto was pretty fast. He raced right into the tackle for a big loss. And boy, here we are with St. Bernard's, in the red zone again after a big special teams play, and knocking on the door.
And it's going to be 1st and 10 for St. Bernard's at the Eureka 12-yard line, as the Crusaders right now, with all of the momentum, they're going with that jumbo formation with Thrapp split to the right. They're looking for Thrapp in the end zone. It's a jump ball situation, and it's going to be intercepted by Dunn, who did a great job of turning around and reacting and stepping in front of Thrapp to make the interception in the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback. So a sudden change situation, and St. Bernard's not able to capitalize.
Damn it.
Thrapp was going up against Dunn, who was out there on an island, and a great job by Dunn.
No doubt, and in Omi's defense, I mean, we're right behind. We're in direct line where that ball was going, and you could see that ball floating to the right. And, where Thrapp's kind of working toward his left, getting into the end zone, and that wind just killed that football and it blew it off course. And but nice defensive play, hanging on and coming down in the end zone for a touchback, and here Eureka has the ball.
Eureka with the first down at their own 20, and Bodie's going to keep it as he's going to run. He's going to try to get to the outside, has some running room, gets away from Omi before being dragged down over on the far side of the field at about the 35-yard line, but a nice run on first down, a gain of 15. All of a sudden, we've had a momentum shift here at Crusader Field.
Yeah, nice downfield block by the wideout on that side against the wrap, and Bodie had basically one guy to beat out there on the sidelines, and I want to say
10 loggers from the
was out there,
35-yard line.
might have been Omi out there who did a good job of containing him. Otherwise, it would have been a long run.
First and 10 for Eureka at the 35, and now we're going to have an officials timeout as one of the Eureka players is going to have to check out. That would be offensive lineman number 72, Drew Jensen, senior, 5'11", 240. Update from the Cream City coach.
Ferndale leading group ball 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Thank you, Christy Christensen, for the update. Appreciate that.
And Bodie's going to keep it, and Bodie's going to pick up a couple yards before being hit by Daniel and then being brought down by Hagler at the 38-yard line after a 3-yard gain.
The goal opened up pretty fast as well, so Bodie saw some daylight, but didn't get there quick enough to make a big play. Picking up 3 or 4 there.
Just under 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter. St. Bernard's 14, Eureka 7. Others have second and 7 at their own 38. High snap. Bodie now is going to be kind of running for his life. Bodie picks up a couple blocks before being brought down by Logan Petrucia at about the 48, 42-yard line.
Tell you what, the officials missed a hold there. Cole Petrucia, number 54, his jersey was almost taken off by one of the Eureka linemen, and nobody threw the flag. And Coach Tomlin's pretty animated there as well, and I don't blame him. He was held back, and Eureka got away with a hold there.
Loggers were very fortunate that they were able to get something on that particular play after that high snap. So it's going to be third and call it a short 3 with Bodie under center and her and Magana in the backfield. That's Dunn in motion from his wingback position. Now Dunn's going to go in motion to the left. And Bodie's going to be hit and tackled for a loss on a play that was very slow in developing. And the St. Bernard's defense doing a great job as Bodie might have been shaken up on the play. Bodie is down at the 40-yard line after he ended up kind of getting rolled up on. Looked like he wanted to hand the ball off, decided to keep it himself, and he was tackled for a 3-yard loss.
Well, Eureka can ill afford losing their second quarterback in 3 weeks, and he's been the offense so far today on the ground, and
scored their only touchdown on that 51-yard run in the second quarter on a 4th and 7 play. As he now is being attended to. Clock stops with 5:46 left in the third quarter. St. Bernard's 14, Eureka 7. Keep in mind the Loggers have the wind at their back here in the third quarter. And the wind has been a factor today, Coach, especially when you're talking about the passing game and the kicking game.
Yeah, certainly, and we've seen a couple kicks for touchbacks going to the south because the wind's kind of blowing out of the northern half of the field here, and knocked down a few passes. I think it's even affected a couple of long snaps. I mean, it's howling pretty good, and those trees are really bending out in the distance there. You can see them, and it is blowing.
Bodie now is sitting up, and he is going to be helped off the field. He's definitely favoring that left leg. You can tell he can't put any weight on that left leg at all.
Yeah, they need a couple of taller guys to help him off the field because he's just dragging that injured leg because he's taller than his help.
Bodie 6'1", 170. Thrapp goes over and says something to him. Nice gesture there by senior Lane Thrapp. So it's going to be 4th and 5.
He's the third string.
We might have to wait and find out for a while because it's going to be a punting situation.
Yeah, well,
Looks like Bell's over there playing catch on the sidelines.
might have to be called into emergency duty here and have to test that ankle.
Out of necessity.
Usually, hope you don't have to get your third-team quarterback at any point in the season, but Eureka is, looks like they're going to try and throw Trevor Bell out there and see what he can do.
The Eureka punt team only had 9 players on the field. Now I think they have 11 players on the field. As Herr is back in punt formation, he's going to have the wind at his back. Line of scrimmage the 40, and Herr gets this one away, but it's kind of off the side of his foot, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. So it's a 25-yard punt by Herr, who's kind of been under duress all day, Coach.
Yeah, he's, snap's not getting back to him in a big hurry, and he isn't very deep.
Their own 35-yard line.
The punter out there, he only looks like he's about 10 yards behind. A lot of times, you get back there 13 yards, maybe even a little more, if you have a snapper that can get you the ball in a hurry. But he's giving St. Bernard's a pretty good shot at him being that close to the line of scrimmage.
St. Bernard's 14, Eureka 7, 5:15 left in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for the Crusaders at their own 35. Spread formation for St. Bernard's with Finoti in the backfield. Omi out of the shotgun. That's Hagler in motion to the right. They fake the handoff to Hagler. They give it to Finoti. And Finoti, with a nice second effort, is still on his feet as he moves the pile and picks up enough for a first down to the 46-yard line after initially being hit at about the 40-yard line. So a nice second and a third effort.
Well, Ron did a good job of getting him to the second level. And once he got there, it was on him to carry about 6 or 7 loggers for that extra 4 or 5 yards, and that was a heck of a run. Shows the strength of Finoti, because there was, I think, only one white jersey that wasn't right in that pile.
Our line was pushing.
So Finoti coming into today's game, 47 carries for 347 yards rushing, averaging 7.4 yards per carry, picks up 11 on that first down run. And Omi this time fakes the handoff to Finoti, keeps it himself and dives forward, and he's going to pick up 3 yards out to the 49.
Got a read option play, Omi keeps. He's just behind the left guard there.
6 for the Crusaders.
Apologize for the feedback. Not sure if it's coming from the wind or our equipment or our phone line. Dave might have just had the magic touch there as far as moving a few things around.
Yeah, let's see. I don't want to touch anything too much here.
Always an adventure. 2nd and 7 for the Crusaders as we are under 4 minutes. There's Hagler in motion to the right. This time they're going to pitch it to Finoti, who's going to try to run to the short side. And Finoti does a nice job of kind of tiptoeing down the sidelines before being shoved out of bounds. That's the Eureka 47.
Finoti's running like he's going to deliver a blow to anyone that gets in front of him, and right now he's
getting
running the football. So
His line lead blocker was
playing big right now.
Calvin Finoti, 6'2", 225, a senior. Crusaders are going to conclude the regular season at home against Fortuna next Saturday afternoon. That will be a 2 o'clock kickoff. And now Eureka's going to jump off sides. So on 3rd and 3.
Penalty issue on sides.
Both in the backfield there. And,
looked like Jack Hill was one of them. So St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin telling his team, hey, take your time, use some time. Let's get this thing to the 4th quarter where St. Bernard's will have the wind at their back. Crusaders taking the lead on their first possession of the second half on a 1-yard touchdown run by Omi. His 10th touchdown of the season, capping off a 6-play, 72-yard drive.
And now we're going to have a whistle,
Timeout
and it's
call
going to be a
by
timeout. So
Crusaders.
St. Bernard's will take a timeout. Randy, we're going to throw it back to you. We want to make sure that we're in a situation where everything is working fine with 3:50 left in the third quarter. Crusaders 14, Loggers 7. We'll be right back. You get some more water, brother? I get a water. Everything sound okay? We were having a little feedback. Okay. 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 Thank you, Coach. Okay, perfect. And thank you for all your help today, boss. You enjoy the interview at halftime with Coach White? Good. Okay, they're going again.
Only with the carry.
Okay.
Gain of just about 10 yards.
On the first play after that St. Bernard's timeout, Omi keeps it on a quarterback sweep and picks up 9 yards. So it's going to be second and short for the Crusaders, who lead 14-7 with 3:44 remaining in the third quarter. Big crowd on hand tonight.
Got a first down route.
We got to keep in mind that Bell being out doesn't just hurt him at quarterback. He's their strong safety. He's been making a lot of plays on defense today. So, Bodie, and him being out leaves a pretty big hole in the defensive backfield of the Loggers.
Chain Gang making their first appearance this afternoon as the officials are going to call for a measurement. The referee is Roland Treherne. The umpire is Alex Barrich. The head linesman is Joe Quinn. The line judge is Stuart Millar. And the back judge is Larry Doss, as Omi did pick up enough for a first down. Chain Gang today, one of the top chain gangs here in the North Coast, consisting of Johnny Agajanian, Dale Walker, Mickey Ayala, and John Egger.
Love the chain gangs. Those guys do a great job.
Exactly.
Come out here, rain or shine, and do a good job every week.
When you just talk about everybody that helps out from a game management standpoint, you've got the public address announcer, Vernon Brown, to our left, along with Denny Catry, doing a great job operating the clock and the scoreboard. And Omi, this time on a delay, is going to give it to Finoti, and he's going to be brought down after a short gain. And leading the way defensively for the Loggers is senior Miles Maynell.
Yeah, big back and hit by a big lineman there. That was
Gain of a yard on the play. Brings up
stalemate.
second and 9 for the Crusaders.
Not much of a gain there, maybe half a yard, but big play by Maynell.
San Jose State has already offered Maynell the scholarship to play football for the Spartans next year.
He may be playing alongside the Stellar Prep
Yes.
quarterback and linebacker.
So it's going to be second and 9. Only wants to throw. Sets up, has a man wide open. That's Joyner at the 25. Joyner makes the catch before being shoved out of bounds. Very close to a first down, just depending on that spot over on the far side of the field. And it will be enough for a first down. So a very soft cushion, and Obi taking full advantage of that.
Yeah, the corners are off about 10, 12 yards there, and if they take advantage of that, it's going to be open for them as long as they want it until they bring him up. If they start to press a little bit with the corners.
Coming into today, only 119 for 192. 2,003 yards, completed 62% of his passes, 25 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. This time he's going to hand it off to Finoti running over that left side, and he's inside the 20 to the 17-yard line, where it will now be second and 6 as St. Bernard's continues to do a nice job of running time off the clock.
Eureka coming up with press coverage
Gain of 4 on the play. Brings up
corners
second and
that
6
play.
for the Crusaders.
He's getting a good head of steam and a nice
Eureka,
pickup.
16 yards
It's a
line.
load. gets a head of steam going, and he's going to pick up a few yards in. See the four St. Bernard's coach choreographing their signal calls here on the sidelines.
Going to be 2nd and 6. Omi this time is going to hand it on to Thrapp. And Thrapp on a fly sweep is inside the 15. He's inside the 10 before being shoved out of bounds at about the 5-yard line, and that will be good enough for another first down.
Number 7, Willie Magana.
Nice fly sweep look to it, and Thrapp about the 3rd touch he's had today, and they've all been for yardage, and a nice run.
So it's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 5. Thrapp now in motion. They're going to hand it off to Thrapp again, who's going to cut back. He's inside the 5, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. We go back to the same play, and on back-to-back plays, St. Bernard's has success, and this time Thrapp scores on a 4-yard run.
Yeah, another fly sweep action, and got some great blocks out in front. And St. Bernard's doing a good job of sustaining, because that play takes a little while to develop. So the guys out here on the left, there was a Hagler out there and the wide receiver out here, do a good job of blocking and sustaining those blocks until the ball carrier gets into the neighborhood.
So the Crusaders score with 2:01 left in the 3rd quarter. The extra point by Perez Estrada is good. So we're going to take a break in the action with 2:01 left in the 3rd quarter. It's St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 7, and we'll be back with more right after this timeout. Okay, thank you. 9 plays, 65 yards. Could you check on how many touchdowns Thrapp has scored now this year, Coach?
17.
Well, he's caught 18.
Jeez.
So he's
19. He had 19 touchdowns.
Holy, this is his money. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I know he had the 1 interception he returned for a touchdown. Perez Estrada kick. Okay. Here. Welcome back to Crusader Field as St. Bernard's has opened up a 14-point lead with 2:01 left in the 3rd quarter as St. Bernard's now leads Eureka 21-7, Coach.
Yeah, widening lead here in a game that's not showing a whole lot of offensive firepower throughout the day. I mean, you would think that, traditionally St. Bernard's, Eureka, they'd be lighting up the scoreboard a little bit here, but 28 points through almost 3 quarters is, it's not a huge output, but St. Bernard's has most of them, and they're fairly comfortable leading.
9 plays, 65 yards, a 4-yard touchdown run by Thrapp. Thrapp scoring his 20th touchdown of the season. Extra point was good by Perez Estrada, and St. Bernard's leads 21-7. As Perez Estrada set to kick off from the 40-yard line, and he's going to kick this one away. And it's going to end up bouncing at about the 20-yard line and then going out of bounds.
This kick goes out of bounds.
There you go. Might have been your phone. You just never know. Look at that.
Maybe.
Might be.
1st and 10 Loggers at their own 35-yard line.
So Eureka will take over. Keep in mind the Loggers are going to have the wind at their back with 2:01. And for the first time today, Trevor Bell is going to check into the game at quarterback. And you can tell he's definitely favoring that ankle.
Well, it's heavily taped, and you know what? He's been dealing with that injury for a few weeks. It takes a while to come back, but we'll see what he can do.
And Bell wants to throw on 1st down, and the pass is incomplete. The pass was intended for Graham. Good coverage on the play by Omi as the pass just ended up sailing over his head.
A little quick hitter there, a little hitch pattern, and the ball really sailed on Bell and well over everyone's head.
And we've seen that happen on a regular basis today with the passing game as the ball, once it gets up in the wind, it just kind of ends up sailing.
Second and 10 for the Loggers.
Might have cramped up, Coach. Get the pickle juice. Get the pickle juice. Going to be 2nd and 10. That's Bell under center. Backs are split behind him. They're going to hand the ball off. And the ball carrier for Eureka is going to run straight up the middle and pick up 4 yards to the 39-yard line. That was her, the ball carrier.
Gain of 4 on the play brings up 3rd and 6 for the Loggers.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Crusaders 21, Loggers 7. Big four.
Crusaders D being real stingy between the tackles. Tough sled.
Going to be 3rd and a long 6. Bell looks right, throws right, and the pass is going to be caught out in the flat, and making the catch for Eureka. That is done, and done with a nice second effort, is able to fall forward and pick up just enough for a first down.
Yeah, he was, defense got to him short of the first down, but he spun off and sort of dove at the last second, and just enough to pick up a first. So.
They needed 6, Dunn gets 7, and a first down for the Loggers. Graham's going to be split to the right. Approaching the 1 minute mark in the third quarter. St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 7. Bell, who started the first 6 games before being injured in practice in the game, and now he's going to run, and Bell with some running room is going to bounce to the outside before being dragged down from behind on a nice defensive play by Prudhomme, and Bell doing a pretty good job of running in the open field after the pocket broke down on him.
He tucked and ran, and you're kind of wondering just, obviously he's not 100% out there. He's favoring that ankle a little bit, but last 2 plays, 10-yard run, 7-yard pass. All of a sudden Eureka's on the move.
And you can tell he's hobbling a little bit right now.
He got up hurt.
Exactly.
He's really testing that ankle.
You're exactly right, Coach. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 44. He's going to hand the ball off. They hand it off to her, who runs straight ahead. He's going to fall forward for about 4 yards. Keep in mind that big picture-wise, as far as Eureka is concerned, even if they win today, they're going to have to beat Del Norte next week in their final regular season game in order to be playoff eligible. So both Fortuna and Eureka find themselves in must-win situations the final week of the regular season. Now ball is popped loose. It is going to be loose, and it looks like it might have been recovered by a Hagler as Magana recovered the ball area for Eureka, and he was hit by Logan Patricia, who jarred the ball loose, and it's going to be recovered by St. Bernard's.
Magana was a little more concerned about delivering a big hit there than ball security, and that ball just fell right out of his hands. Nice hit by St. Bernard's, and big turnover, and Eureka looking like they were gaining a little confidence with Bell at quarterback. Sometimes just his presence out there is enough to...
So a big play on the final play of the third quarter. A turnover by Eureka. So, Randy, we're going to take a quick break at the end of 3 quarters. It's St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 7, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this timeout. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's fine. It can be a quickie. So a big play by the St. Bernard's defense on the final play of the third quarter as Magana fumbles. It was recovered by St. Bernard's. Second turnover of the game by Eureka. And St. Bernard's has a first down at their own 38 as we get set for the start of the fourth quarter with the Crusaders leading the Loggers 21-7.
And now they've got the wind at their back. Oops.
And on first down, Omi has problems with the exchange, and he is going to be tackled for a loss by Bell back at the 28-yard line. A loss of 10 on that play as Omi just took his eyes off the snap.
He's hurt.
Limping a little bit now, too. Yeah, he just took off running a little bit before he had the football. And officials timeout. He's going to have to come off the field for at least a play.
He's kind of favoring that right leg. It's been a very physical, hard-hitting game today, Coach.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about that. They're both bringing their A games in terms of physicality today, and
He's hurt.
we're seeing a number of people heading off to the sidelines, walking gingerly or what have you. So
Now he's kind of walking off the field under his own power as he gets a nice hand from the St. Bernard fans. Good crowd on hand today on both sides of the field. Two
Winning
schools
ticket for
battling for
$50
bragging rights here in the
$74.
city of Eureka.
428 350 428
Joyner warming up on the sidelines. St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin communicating with the back judge Larry Doss, letting that clock run down, and then St. Bernard's is going to take a timeout right before the play clock expires.
$74.
And St. Bernard's will take a timeout with 11:07. So once again, good clock management there by the Crusaders.
absolutely, you want to milk every second you can off of this thing, especially while you have the football. And Eureka,
One more time
you know
on
what,
that
they've got to get a
50-50
stop,
number.
and they
428
got to get the ball back.
350.
Down by 2 scores here, and with Omi getting some extra tape on his ankle there, looks like his right ankle, they're taping it up, and see if he can go on it.
Being attended to by athletic trainer Lucas Valle. 11:07 left in the fourth
We're going
quarter.
to draw another number. Here we go.
It's going to be
No, wait a
second.
minute. We have a winner.
Going to be second and 20 for the Crusaders. St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 7. Eureka's going to finish the regular season next Friday as the White brothers will square off against one another. Eureka head coach Jason White will lead the Loggers in the battle against his younger twin brothers, Del Norte head coach Nick White and offensive coordinator Chris White. So that's Joyner quarterback. And Joyner this time is going to hand it off to Hagler on a fly sweep. And Hagler's going to try to get to the edge. He's going to cut back before being shoved out of bounds. There's a couple of flags down.
Penalty flag down on the play.
So flag down in the secondary. As Hagler got the ball on a fly sweep, there's 2, maybe 3 flags down.
Trevor Bell hit him out of bounds.
Well, it's tough to beat Del Norte, especially at home. So Eureka's got their work cut out for them for this last quarter here and all the next weeks.
Right.
Heading up to Crescent City, the not-so-friendly confines.
Keep in mind the Loggers back-to-back conference champions. They won the Big 5 conference in 2017, won the Big 4 conference in 2018. And they lost their conference opener at home in their homecoming game. Couple of holding penalties against St. Bernard's.
This late flag on the sideline, what was that?
Coach Tomlin trying to tell his coaches and his players to settle down and get over it, because I think a lot of people were under the impression that it might have been a late hit against Eureka. But that was not the case. It was just 2 holding penalties, with the first one being declined, Coach.
Personal foul called against Eureka.
Foul against Eureka.
Okay,
Called a personal foul.
So there was.
see, we didn't see, we did not get that.
15-yard penalty.
We thought that something might have
They did a
happened.
holding.
But we never got, did we ever get a signal from Roland? I mean, we just got.
Just now, on
Okay.
the personal foul. So he called a holding, they marched it off, then he called a personal foul.
Okay.
It must have
Marched
been
it back.
after the play was dead.
Right.
And so holding during the play, personal foul after the play, so they marched them both off, and they're kind of, I guess that would
Second
be a
down.
5-yard.
So the ball was spotted at the 33. So there were 2 holding penalties against St. Bernard's. Joyner wants to throw. He looks downfield, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Prudhomme, who tried to come back and make the catch at about the 40-yard line. So the clock stops with 10:54 to go. And coming up for St. Bernard's, it's going to be 3rd and 17.
Even with the catch, that's going to be game, but the ball would have kept moving.
And it looks like Omi now is back in the game. Thank you very much. Chuck's up here with us, doing a great job operating the camera and spotting for us. And now letting us know that Omi, after having that right ankle taped, is back in the game. So Omi getting the play call from head coach Matt Tomlin. Going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 17. That's Finoti in motion to the right, and Omi is just going to keep it on a quarterback draw, and he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage as he picks up 8 yards on the play, and that will set up a 4th and 9 play for the St. Bernard's offense.
Looks like you're going to kick this one away, possibly.
Coach, thanks for the water. You're always there for me.
Punt team is on the field. Let's see if they actually kick it. I'm always suspicious with St. Bernard's running a fake,
but in this case, they've got the wind at their back. So I think we'd be surprised if Throp doesn't punt it away.
Just need a clean snap here.
Line of scrimmage is the 40-yard line.
Nice snap.
Thrap with plenty of time gets the punt away, and it's not a very good effort, even though it will take a St. Bernard's bounce before being picked up by Woods at the 25-yard line, and he's going to be brought down immediately.
Doing a good job of not only snapping the ball in that play, but running down and making the tackle to the sideline. So good job by him there. And Eureka will get the ball here at the 26-yard line, and we'll see what they can put together.
So with 9:56 remaining in the 4th quarter, the Loggers will get the ball back, trailing 21-7. Keep in mind, later on tonight, Game 4 of the World Series. Houston now back in the series after beating Washington 4-1 last night. Nationals still lead the series 2-1. It's going to be an inside handoff to her, and her's going to run straight up the middle, and he's going to pick up about 4 yards to the 31-yard line before being brought down by Omi and Prudhomme.
A lot of snaps under center here, which is different than anything we saw with Bodie, and he's pretty comfortable running this offense from under center here, and all the misdirection that comes with the team.
Gain of 4. It's going to be 2nd and 6, and this time it's going to be a fly sweep, where they're going to give the ball to Dunn, who's got some running room, and he has more than enough for a first down as he's across the 35, across the 40, and out to the 42-yard line. A gain of 12 and a Logger first down.
You can kind of feel the confidence Eureka has with Bell at quarterback, because most of their offensive plays have been positive since he's been in the game. And, if it wasn't for the turnover down here, who knows? But they're starting to look like the Eureka offense a little bit more.
Bell was the backup last year for Cruz, Montana, who's up at Lewis and Clark College up in the Portland area. And on first down, they keep it on the ground, and the ball carrier for Eureka, that is her. He's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And Bell, the heir apparent, got a lot of playing time last year, and he was really enjoying a very good senior season up until he sprained his ankle in practice the week of the Chico game. And this time on 2nd down, it's going to be an inside handoff to Magana. And Magana is going to, actually that's her, the ball carrier, and hers across the 45 to the 46-yard line. A gain of a couple on the play, where it now will be 3rd and 6.
3rd and 7 for the Loggers.
Fullback dive off the ball in motion, a couple plays in a row.
Okay, now they're going to give it to Dunn, who's going to try to cut back, and he is going to be brought down short of a first down. Moon in on the tackle, along with Finoti. And it's going to be 4th and call it a long 4 for the Logger offense. And with less than 8 minutes to play in the 4th quarter, they probably have no choice but to go for it right now, Coach.
You're close enough to midfield. If they were over the 50-yard line, they'd definitely go for it. There's another 4 yards, but they got a long 5 here to get, and they're gonna have to dial something up.
Reverse. So Graham is going to be split to the left. You've got her in the backfield. You've got Bell under center. Magana in motion to the right, and now we've got a whistle. And I believe that Eureka has called a timeout. So we're going to keep it right here with 7:33
remaining in the fourth quarter. Tad Wotherspoon along with Coach Dave Filippini and Chuck Petrucia at St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 7. And coming up for the Loggers, it's going to be a fourth down play. It's going to be fourth and call it a long 5. St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin talking things over with his defensive unit. Two teams that are very evenly matched, Coach. We saw that last week. A lot of parity in the Big Four Conference from top to bottom.
Yeah, well, definitely Del Norte looking like the strongest team out there, but amongst the other three,
right?
You know, it's there's been a lot of 1-touchdown games, 2-touchdown games, so there's, you know, we haven't seen a blowout of the Big Four yet. So, yeah, everything's been pretty close.
The St. Bernard's Del Norte game last Friday night was a 1-possession game. The Fortuna Eureka game was a 1-possession game. Game last night was a 2-possession game. And now St. Bernard's is going to call a timeout. So a little bit of a chess match now with the two head coaches, Matt Tomlin of St. Bernard's and Jason White of Eureka.
Yeah, they both saw something they didn't like or had a better idea going into the play on offense, and now St. Bernard's seeing something they don't like in the offensive set. Eureka lining up in a slot formation to the right, and you know, they got to be aware of any kind of bubble screen or quick slant. And you know, I think Bell, even though he's throwing into the wind, a little more accurate passer historically, and Bodie hasn't had a lot of time under his belt at quarterback, but they cannot really throw the ball very effectively in most of the game.
I want to welcome all of our listeners on the radio and on the internet, all the Logger fans, all the Crusader fans, the Husky fans, the Wildcat fans, the Warrior fans, football fans, and all the hunters out there enjoying our broadcast today that comes your way on the radio dial at 95.1 Mix FM, on the HD radio dial 95.1-1 Mix HD, streaming on Facebook at 95.1 Mix FM on Facebook, and we encourage you to download the free TuneIn radio app to your phone and search for 95.1 Mix FM to listen from anywhere. And on fourth down, Bell wants to throw. He steps up, now being pressured. He's going to just throw this one up for grabs, and the pass is going to be underthrown, and there are no flags down as Hagler was putting a lot of pressure on Bell, who alertly got the ball away, but he just threw it up for grabs, and you can tell Bell is running very gingerly as he jogs off the field back to the Eureka sideline.
Yeah, he almost looked like he was directing traffic at first. At first point he was a receiver to go somewhere, and then all of a sudden he pulled the ball down, and the St. Bernard's rush just got to him, and you don't have that much time to throw the ball. And that was probably a 5-second drop, and all fell dead. So turnover on downs, and here are the Crusaders.
First down for St. Bernard's at the Eureka 48. Naomi's going to hand the ball off to Finoti, who's got some running room, and Finoti's going to pick up 6 yards before being tackled by Woods at the 42-yard line. As the clock continues to move, we're approaching the 7-minute mark. St. Bernard's is just going to take their time. They have the wind at their back, and they have a 14-point lead, 21-7.
And they have a 210-pound back in the backfield. They're going to feed him the ball, I would imagine, for the rest of this game as much as they can, and try and eat the clock and get some yards, couple first downs.
Omi looks over the defense on 2nd and 4. They give it to Finoti again. Finoti running straight up the middle. He's going to pick up enough for a first down to the 36-yard line. So a gain of 6 and a St. Bernard first down as the Crusaders move the chains as the clock continues to run.
Well, that's your best weapon. If you can pound the ball between the tackles and eat clock and get first downs, keep the ball away from Eureka. And that seems to be the current game plan.
St. Bernard's with Cole Petrucia under center, and it's a direct snap to Omi. He's going to hand it off to Finoti. Finoti then has the ball loose as Loggers. It's going to be recovered by Dunn as Finotti had the ball stripped from him after he picked up enough for a first down. So a nice job by the Logger defense forcing that turnover.
Yeah, that's a big break for St. Bernard's because they were pushing the Loggers backwards, and Finotti was just dragging people everywhere. And you know, the one thing that can get you is a turnover, and unfortunately, that just happened. So, 6 minutes left in the game, 21-7. St. Bernard's are still in a pretty good position, but you'd like to hang on to the ball.
First down at the 23-yard line, and on first down, they're going to give it to Dunn, and Dunn able to avoid a couple of tackles before finally being brought down by Rawson and Prudhomme at the 35-yard line. A couple of missed tackles by St. Bernard's, and Dunn's able to pick up 11 yards and a first down.
Yeah, using his shiftiness, doing a great job. That's the best run of the day for him today. St. Bernard's can't afford to be getting tired here. This game isn't over. 6 minutes is enough time to score a couple touchdowns. The Eureka's got a long way to go, and they're playing into the wind here. But St. Bernard's got to be careful.
Going to be first and 10 for the Loggers at their own 36. That's Magana in motion to the right. They want to set up a middle screen, and they do, as they dump it off to Dunn, and Dunn's going to be brought down by Prudhomme. Close to a first down at about the 45-yard line. Smallwood also in on the tackle.
No, not a
It's going to be about a foot short here, and
Keep the clock running. Why'd they stop the clock?
Very close to a first down.
better spot than I thought they were. They're going to measure.
Clock stops with 5:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Dunn showing some real shiftiness out there and real quickness, and doing a good job moving the ball down the field.
Dunn coming into today's game, 34 carries, 284 yards, averaging 8.4 yards per carry, and he scored 4 rushing touchdowns. Dunn also with 13 catches for 232 yards, 17.8 yards per reception, as Dunn's going to be just short of a first down.
Second
half a
inches
foot short,
Loggers.
about 6 inches short. But it's only second down, so. But Eureka's got to think beyond chipping away at first downs here. With 6 minutes left on the clock, they've got to get some big plays under their belt here and get in the end zone if they have a chance of winning this football game.
3 shots at the end zone right here.
Bodie Dunn checks into the game for St. Bernard's up front. It's going to be second and short. 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Loggers going from our right to our left. With Bell under center, that would be Trevor Bell, and then Antorius Bell in the backfield. Magana, the wingback on the left side. Dunn, the wingback on the right side. Bell wants to throw. Now he's going to step up and scramble, and he's going to be hit hard by Moon and tackled after a short gain. And depending on the spot, he's going to be close to a first down, and it is enough for a first down.
Chains are on the move. Now the clock's on the move as well.
After they move the chains. Well, Denny Catry on the receiving end there. It's Magana in motion. Bell is back to pass. He's going to set up. This one kind of floats out there, and it's underthrown as it was intended for Graham. But the wind got the best of that pass because Graham had created some separation from Omi, Coach.
Yeah, definitely. He was open early, but that ball got caught in the wind. Kind of took on a little bit of a duck flow, duck movement there, and this wind is brutal today, and been tough to pass the ball.
So it's going to be second and 10 at the 46-yard line. That's Dunn in motion. They give it to him on a fly sweep, and he's going to carry the ball out to about midfield before being brought down by Prudhomme and Jacob Smallwood.
Dunn's been doing a great job of moving the ball down the field, but it's taken a lot of time, and this is not, going going to answer the ultimate question of who's going to win this football game.
35 for the
Unless he
Loggers.
can bust off a big one in the very near future.
Prudhomme, a transfer from Eureka High School last year at this time. He was playing on the Eureka junior varsity team. There's Magana in motion. This time they're going to hand it off to Dunn, and Dunn's able to get away from a tackle as he was hit behind the line of scrimmage by Avery Howe, and Howe was just unable to wrap him up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because they had him for a loss, and Howe just couldn't hang on, and Dunn turned that into a pretty nice game. So.
To the 34-yard line, which is enough for another first down. So the Loggers are on the move. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Eureka at the St. Bernard's 34. This time it's an inside handoff to Bell, and Bell was inside the 30 to the 28-yard line before being tripped up by Omi and then finally being brought down by Rawson.
Well, Eureka's all of a sudden become very efficient offense.
Second and
It's just
5
late
for
in
the
the game.
Loggers.
They have the big play. They're just, it's almost ka-chunk down the field here. And,
Bell this time will give it to Dunn again, and Dunn's going to try to get to the edge, and he's going to be brought down after a short gain on a nice tackle by Omi and Ross. Prudhomme also in on the tackle, and it's going to be coming up. It's going to be 3rd and call it 3.
Unfortunately, he got out of bounds. He had a chance to maybe get out of bounds there, but not good clock awareness so far.
And on 3rd down, it's an inside handoff to Bell, and Bell running hard has more than enough for a first down as he's inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. And then Bell appears to be shaken up on the play as he's going to run off the field to the sidelines. They're going to move the chains, and it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 19. And the clock is running again as we're approaching the 3-minute mark, Coach.
Yeah, looked like another stinger possibly the way he's moving around out there.
Her in the backfield. They're going to give it to Dunn on a fly sweep. He's going to try to get to the edge, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds by Omi, close to a first down at about the 11-yard line as the Logger offense continues to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, they are definitely coming to life, but down 2 touchdowns in 6 minutes to play. It's it's late
on the play.
They're going to have to score quickly and get the ball back quickly in order to have any kind of chance. And with 3 minutes left to play, they could put one in the end zone right now if they want a chance.
Ball is spotted at the 11-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and short. Bell's under center with her in the backfield, and now Bell is going to hand the ball off to her. Bell ended up losing his helmet on the play.
Boy, Hagler just about blew that play up from his linebacker spot. He just shot a gap and almost took the hand off.
And her ended up getting the handoff to Bell. And Bell should have to come out of the game because he lost his helmet, Coach, and he's still out on the field. And now Roland Treehorn finally picking up on that. And Bell alertly put his helmet back on, and you can tell Bell is not even close to being 100% as he limps off the field.
Why'd they start the clock?
The offense moving.
Because of an injury timeout, because he lost his helmet.
30 yard for the Loggers.
Now they're going to have to do something with someone out there. I can't imagine that Coach Wright hasn't had a backup quarterback, this week behind Bodie in practice.
Now they might just have to go with some type of wildcat situation.
Yeah, that could be as well.
Well, it looks like Graham's looking over at the sidelines. So now we're going to have, and it is going to be Graham who's under center. On 3rd and short, Graham's going to hand it off to her. Her's got enough for a first down as he's inside the 5-yard line to about the 3-yard line as the clock stops with 2:31 remaining, and it's going to be 1st and goal for the Loggers. So Graham doing a nice job stepping up and running the offense.
Yeah, that was great. It just seemed to be, they're just taking too much time between plays here. And there doesn't seem to be enough urgency out there.
And Bell now back in the game after having to sit out a play after losing his helmet. This time they're going to give it to Dunn, and Dunn's going to be tackled for a loss. Leading the way is Finoti, along with Prudhomme and Moon.
Loss on the play.
Boy, great play by St. Bernard's defense, gang tackling out there on the edge, and St. Bernard's coach all over the clock operators.
And I'll tell you what, Denny Catry, one of the best clock operators on the North Coast.
Firing back down there saying, hey, the official said stop.
Exactly. And now before
Flag on the play.
they run the play, we've got a flag down and a penalty, and it's going to be against
False
Eureka.
start against the Loggers.
Because that's what the clock operator is supposed to do. You're supposed to pay attention to the referee because you basically get all your direction and your instructions from the referee.
Yeah, he puts his hands up like this, waves them around until you stop the clock. Then he winds his arm and you start the clock. And that's, it's
And that's all Denny's doing.
That's all he's doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
And if the coaches want something different, that's just too bad.
Going to be second and goal from about the 13. They're going to give it to Magana, who's going to try to get to the outside, and he's going to be wrapped up by Hagler at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, St. Bernard's defense getting out on the edge, both sides of the field now, and on a couple of plays, and Eureka's going to have to use one of their last 2 timeouts here.
Timeout called by the Loggers.
Something up here.
And that was the 15th play of the drive. It's a drive that started at the Eureka 23. They now have the ball at the St. Bernard's 10. It's been a nice drive, but it's been a time-consuming drive, which is not what the Loggers wanted.
Yeah, and I'm kind of asking myself, as efficient as the Loggers offense has looked on this drive at most of it until the last couple of plays, you got to ask the question whether Bell should have come in earlier.
Right.
With a stagnant offensive output, Eureka really didn't do much the whole first half. One long run by Bodie. Bodie ran the ball well.
Right.
But other than that, the handoffs, the timing of the offense, and wing T's all about timing and motion, and fakes, and this and that and the other. And obviously Bell runs that a little.
Sure, exactly.
And they're running plays we didn't see them run with Bodie in there as well. So,
but then on the other hand, you want a healthy Bell next week in a must-win situation at Del Norte.
That's a more important game
right.
for Eureka, but. You want to get out there and try and win every game as well. And it looks like Bell's, he's moving around well enough.
So it's third and goal from the 10. It's an inside handoff to her, who's going to run straight ahead, and he's going to be brought down at about the 4-yard line, where it will now be fourth and goal. And coming up, this will be the 17th play of this drive that started at the Eureka 23 as we're approaching the 1-minute mark.
Goal for the Loggers.
So it's fourth and goal at the 4 with Bell under center and her in the backfield. They're going to give it to her, and her is going to try to cut back, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. Nice second effort by her.
Her with the carry. Eureka touchdown.
As the Loggers score on a 4th down play to make it a 1-score game. That makes the score 21-13 with 54.7 seconds remaining.
Well, nice drive by the Loggers, except for the fact that they burned, 5 of the 6.5 minutes, 5.5 of the 6.5 minutes they had when they got the ball. So just needed a quicker score if they could get it to make a legitimate shot. Now they're going to have an onside kick. First, they got to make the PAT to stay close, but you're going to have to try an onside kick and hope for the best.
Extra point by Burns. Snap spot, the kick by Burns is up.
Short.
And it's no good, as it's short.
You don't see that very often. And usually PATs are wide left or right, but kicking into the wind, that ball fell short about 2 yards. You just don't see that. And he kind of blooped it up. He kicked the ball low a little bit, and boy, that wind just right back. Kind of a funny looking kick, but you just don't see that very often. So unfortunately, now that puts them in a situation where they have to get an onside kick. They've got to recover it. This is the Loggers. They've got to get a quick touchdown within 50 seconds and score a 2-point conversion.
Right.
One timeout.
And with one timeout. Thank you.
18 plays, 77 yards, a 4-yard touchdown run by her. His first touchdown of the season, but then the extra point by Burns is short. So St. Bernard's now expecting an onside kick with 54.7 seconds remaining. Crusaders leading the Loggers 21-13. Make sure you stay with us. Join us on the postgame show. We're going to recap the scoring in today's game. We'll look at some numbers from today's game.
We'll visit with St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin, and we will also take a look at the scoreboard. So Perez will kick off from the 40-yard line with St. Bernard's hands team out on the field. They have about 6 players lined up near midfield, and the ball ends up falling off the tee.
They're going to make somebody hold it there pretty quick if that ball won't stay up. Yep.
Perez trying to keep the ball on the tee as the wind continues to blow. And now it looks like one of the Eureka players is going to hold the ball. And here's the onside kick, and Joyner's going to signal for a fair catch and make it at the 43-yard line.
So you should be able to kneel 3 times here and kill this clock and get out of here. So kind of an odd choice of onside kicks there.
First and 10 Crusaders
right at
their own 43-yard line.
So St. Bernard's just 54 seconds away from beating their crosstown rival, the Eureka Loggers.
Yeah, claiming city
Bragging
Eureka
rights.
Bragging rights, absolutely. City Cup.
Yes. Heard the St. Bernard's players chanting "Our Town." As you can look into the distance, you see the water tower here in Eureka that says Eureka Loggers on it, which was kind of controversial when that happened. And now Omi's just going to take a knee.
Yeah, not much point in Eureka using their last time out here. It wouldn't do them any good. So
Clock continues to move, less than 40 seconds remaining. St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 13. And Omi's probably going to just have to snap it one more time. Omi now under center, and is going to take a knee one more time. And that will be it. So the St. Bernard's Crusaders pick up their first conference win of the season as they knock off the defending Big Four Conference champion, Eureka Loggers, by a score of 21-13. That's a big win for the St. Bernard's program, Coach.
no doubt, yeah, it's a huge win and puts them at 1-1 in the league. And, the overall record, gets one win better, and they're gonna host Fortuna next week. And they're 2 pretty evenly matched teams at this point, based on the scores they've been putting up, in respective games. St. Bernard's beating Eureka by 1 touchdown here, and Fortuna beating Eureka by 1 touchdown last week. So,
congratulations, Coach. Coach Saunderson stopping by, so congratulations to him, and head coach Matt Tomlin, the St. Bernard's coaching staff, and all the St. Bernard's players. These programs, despite the fact that there is some bad blood, they also have a lot of respect for one another.
Well, certainly, as they should. It's they're both solid programs, a lot of history behind them, and what's not to respect.
Sure.
So it's one thing to play an intense football game, hard-hitting football game, and but you know what? Someone's going to win, someone's not going to win, and then you move on. So. Great job by the Crusaders. I would say defensively, except for that one long drive, They did an outstanding job all day long.
So our final score, St. Bernard's 21, Eureka 13. As you can see, Bodie now is on crutches, as he's definitely favoring that left leg. So, the Eureka football team now even more banged up than they were going into the game. So the Crusaders knock off the Loggers 21-13. And we'll be back with the post-game show right after this timeout. Perfect. Good work, Chuck. Good job, man. Thanks, as always. Appreciate it. So what are you up to, Randy? What's going on? No way. Up and back? What time you leaving? Okay. Coach Watson, we'll see you.
Absolutely.
Hey, have you talked to Coach Parmeter lately?
I have not. How are they doing down there?
I think he might be done.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that he's kind of being forced out just based on what I'm hearing. Yeah, that the JV coach is kind of making a push to take over. Coach Tomlin told me that because Coach Tomlin called him about scheduling a game for next year. And he said, you know what? He says, I'm not sure I'm going to be here. And
I'll reach out to him.
yeah, reach out to him. Give him a little love. Yeah. I've exchanged a few text messages with him, but yeah, definitely need to reach out to him. You know what? I think they're doing okay. They might make the playoffs, but, you know, it's just, I feel bad if that's the case, just because he's put so much into that program. Exactly. Exactly. Coach, always good to see you. Okay, take care.
School's that?
That's El Molino, that Randy Parmeter. Yeah.
Okay.
Who played with JB up at Humboldt.
Right, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to the postgame show. Tag Wotherspoon along with Coach Dave Filippini and Randy Flaveris. Our final score, the St. Bernard's Crusaders 21, the Eureka Loggers 13. St. Bernard's with the win. It's back on the winning track after losing their conference opener to Del Norte last Friday night up in Crescent City by a final score of 27-20. Today they win by a final score of 21-13. St. Bernard's now 1-1 in conference play, 7-2 overall. And the Loggers now 0-2 in the Big Four Conference, 3-6 overall. And pretty solid performance today by St. Bernard's. They came up with a game plan, and they did a very good job of executing that game plan as they pick up an 8-point win over Eureka today.
Certainly got to be happy with their defensive effort in particular. Eureka's defense, solid. You know, you're not going to put up a lot of points against the Eureka defense in any given football game, but St. Bernard's, they didn't turn the ball over much. They turned the ball over one time, I believe, today, and Eureka turned it over more. And I think St. Bernard's, they just they went out there and they hustled and they played hard, and Eureka, you got to wonder if they're at full strength, what this game going to look like, because now the big question is how much tape do you have to keep all these players together going to Crescent City next week? So, but
in a must-win situation,
in a must-win game, and now St. Bernard's has a chance to finish in League 2-1 and play against the Huskies, who have a chance to finish 2-1 as well.
And a win like this for St. Bernard's not only helps them out as far as conference play is concerned, but big picture. It really will have a positive impact on their strength of schedule when you talk about what's going on with the North Coast section playoffs.
Oh, certainly, yeah. And they're most definitely going to be a playoff eligible team, and a nice win against a big school like Eureka is going to look really good for them. So, if they can finish out the season with a W over the Huskies, boy, they're going to be looking pretty good going into postseason.
Yeah, Eureka.
But the Huskies are in a must-win situation next week too, if they want to be playoff eligible. So there's a lot riding on that game next week as well.
Eureka, Fortuna, and Del Norte all competing at the Division 5 level this year, while Arcata and St. Bernard's Division 6 schools, McKinleyville, Ferndale, and Hoopah Valley, competing at the Division 7 level. With the realignment, there'll be 8-team brackets as opposed to the 16-team bracket that we've seen in recent years. In recent years, there's been an open division, and then there's been 5 divisions. This year now there will be 7 divisions, 7 8-team divisions. And St. Bernard's in a situation where, just like Del Norte at the Division 5 level, St. Bernard's is one of the top seeds or one of the top ranked teams in Division 6.
Yeah, I kind of like it because the 16-team brackets, there's so many buys anymore. And you've got some teams that really, you wonder if they should even play a playoff game, but they're barely eligible and they apply anyway, they take their chances. And who doesn't want to play an extra football game? But I'm not opposed to making it a little bit tougher to get into the playoff bracket than it has been. There's been a lot of a lot of teams where you're either getting a bye or you're playing some team that you blow out 50-0 or something like that, and there are too many of those kind of games.
And keep in mind, in order to be playoff eligible, you have to either have an overall record or a record in your league or conference, or a record against schools in the same division that's either 500 or better. So that's why both Eureka next week up in Crescent City against Del Norte, and then Fortuna next Saturday afternoon here in Eureka against St. Bernard's. In order to become playoff eligible, the Loggers have to win against Del Norte, and the Huskies have to win next Saturday against St. Bernard's in order to earn a trip or to become playoff eligible.
Yeah, so it should be two really good games next weekend, and we're seeing Ferndale. They're going to be in a pretty good position. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on them. They were ahead, so it's great when you're still playing for something at the end of the season. And I think the Fortuna St. Bernard's game has been a barn burner the last couple of seasons, and we'll see what they could. What they come up with next weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, let's recap the scoring in today's game. St. Bernard's won the toss. They deferred, but they decided to not only defer, but also end up with the wind at their back in the fourth quarter. So they were able to kind of get the best of both worlds. And Eureka ended up having a punt on their first possession. It ended up being a punt that was minus 3 yards by her. St. Bernard's takes advantage of a short field. They end up going 45 yards in 8 plays. They score with 4:28 left in the first quarter on a 5-yard touchdown run by Omi, his 9th of the season. The extra point was good by Perez Estrada. That put St. Bernard's in front 7-0. Eureka then comes back, and on a long drive, 15 plays, 91 yards, they score with 6:31 left in the second quarter on a 4th down play, a 51-yard touchdown run by Bodie, his 3rd of the season. The extra point was good by Burns. That made the score 7-7. That was our score at halftime. And then St. Bernard's, who deferred, scored on their first possession of the second half. 72 yards in 6 plays. They scored with 9:14 left in the third quarter on a 1-yard touchdown run by Omi, his 2nd of the game, his 10th of the season. The extra point was good by Perez Estrada. That put St. Bernard's in front 14-7. Crusaders then added to their lead on a 4-yard touchdown run by Thrapp with 2:01 left in the third period. That capped off a 9-play, 65-yard drive. The extra point was good by Perez Estrada, and St. Bernard's opens up a 14-point lead, 21-7. The Loggers then scored with less than a minute remaining on a 4-yard touchdown run by her on a 4th down play. That capped off an 18-play, 77-yard drive. This time the extra point by Burns was short, as St. Bernard's beat Eureka by a final score of 21-13. And now joining us on the post-game show, St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin. There's Neil Tarpey. Coach Tarpey.
The legend.
Exactly. Neil Tarpey's in the house, and always good to see Neil, longtime sports writer for the Times-Standard, and always great to see Neil at a local sporting event. And like a lot of people, he wanted to be a part of today's game. And Coach, congratulations to you, your coaching staff, and your players.
I appreciate it, Tag. What a special day for the St. Bernard's community. This is one that people have been waiting a lot of years for, and I'm emotional, and I'm emotional for my guys, man. I mean, they're going to remember this the rest of their life. They just accomplished something that's never going to go away, and the St. Bernard's community is always going to remember this day.
So let's talk a little bit about the game plan, because you were in a situation where you weren't sure what to expect from Eureka, whether they would be going with Bodie for the 3rd straight week at quarterback, or whether they would go with Bell, who sprained his ankle in practice the week of the Chico game. They go with Bodie. Bodie gets hurt, so you end up seeing both Bodie and Bell. So talk a little bit about what was going on from a preparation standpoint this week as far as trying to get ready for Coach White and the Loggers.
Well, I think there's no secret. My respect for Hayden Modi is tremendous because I coach him in summer baseball, and he's been a pitcher for me for a couple straight summers, and so I know what a big game competitor Hayden Modi is, and a winner, and a kid who won a state championship this summer in American Legion baseball. And so we didn't think there was going to be a huge difference because they're both talented kids. Trevor Bell's very good. Hayden Modi's very good. I mean, he had some outstanding runs out there today, and so we prepared the same. It didn't matter which guy was going to play quarterback, and that didn't change anything. I thought the bigger issue that we prepared for was with Chase out, the big tight end.
Right.
He's a great middle linebacker, but I was more concerned with him blocking down at tight end on the traps and the dives. He's such a good physical blocker that we might struggle with that. And so him out, there was definitely some changes we made there that gave us an advantage defensively, and so we took advantage of that.
Talking about junior tight end linebacker Chase Stubing, who broke his thumb in practice earlier this week, and you can tell he had a cast on that thumb, and he is out indefinitely. But let's talk about the game plan going into today's game, knowing full well that you had some concerns and you had some issues up front.
Yeah, here's the bottom line. I mean, you can look at my play sheet that I had in the game right here, and I just left myself a message before the game: stay balanced. I've just been getting too pass happy maybe the last couple weeks, and we have a big running back, we have a quarterback that can run, and I've just been getting too much into 5 wide receiver and throw, and so I really told myself we were going to be balanced today as a team. We were going to try to get Finoti involved in the run game. We were going to try to do a lot of motioning and then inside running and trapping, and those things worked well, and I thought we were able to control clock, and it worked out. I didn't plan it because of the wind. It just happens to be the wind showed up today, and so the game plan worked out that it wasn't easy to throw the ball down the field today. The ball was everywhere, and so there was a lot heavier run in the game plan, and that paid off for us.
You don't see a lot of PAT attempts coming up short. Kicking into that wind was brutal today, but Finoti was big today. Despite the turnover late in the game, he still killed a lot of clock and got some hard yards for you. He really showed up today.
He did
a great job.
Finoti was outstanding, and the thing about the running game is everybody's going to key on Omi because he's so darn good, and so they had a slant defense going to whichever direction Omi was going to be running to, and so Finoti was able to take away the other side. We had a numbers advantage on the opposite side. Finoti took advantage of that. He ran the ball really hard, and I thought him and Omi really complemented each other well in the backfield today.
The inside of your defense coach did a great job today. You were so stingy between the tackles, and that has to make you feel good because you're outsized by everybody you're going to play this year.
Well, listen, I'm gonna talk as a coach right here, but I'm also going to talk as a dad. We started my son at nose guard as a sophomore today for his first varsity start against Eureka High, and he weighs 140 pounds, and he played the nose guard today. And for us to play the run inside just shows how well he played in there. And he was chopping linemen's feet, he was crawling, bear crawling, slanting, whatever we needed him to do. And so he sucked it up and really helped. And then when you have Justin Hagler at that middle linebacker position, he really makes everybody look good. And so, I mean, Hagler is so special at that position. Just another monster game out of him today.
He had some huge plays. He blew up a couple plays down here when Eureka was getting close and took more time off the clock. Outstanding athlete. Yeah, got to be happy with him. Well, congratulations, Coach. And next week, hosting the Huskies. Going to be a fun match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to play Fortuna, and so much respect for Coach Bimbo and Coach Dewey. And they always have wrinkles. It's going to be a long week preparing for those two guys.
Okay, back to today's game as we're visiting with St. Bernard's head coach Matt Tomlin. And Coach, even though it was 7-7 at halftime, you kind of had a sense, or you kind of felt like your team still was in control of the game, even though it was a 7-7 game at the intermission.
I went to the locker room feeling like we were ahead 14-0. I mean, it was okay. The fact that it was a 7-7 game was only because of a blown call on a very clearly blocked punt that was recovered by us at the 30-yard line. We should have been up 14-0. We should have been able to drive from there and score. And somehow that was taken away from us. I still don't understand the explanation. And so,
okay, so tell us. Let me stop you there. As far as at least tell us the explanation that you got from the referee Roland Trieger.
Yeah, so it was 2 different explanations, and that's what bothers me.
Wow.
So for a while, the explanation was we never touched the ball for the block punt. He just kicked it sideways, and so therefore you can't touch the punter because we didn't touch the ball. Then at halftime, I asked for a clear explanation, and I asked mechanically which referee is supposed to be watching for the block kick. Then they said, oh, well, actually he did block the kick, but he hit the punter first, then touched the ball. Well, there's nothing wrong with tackling somebody that has the football in their hands.
Right.
And so we hit the punter and the ball. The ball went sideways. It was a perfect block kick. We did everything right.
And it was just a blown call. I mean, it's as simple as that.
That's a good varsity crew, so I don't want to pile on those guys.
Sure.
Those are all good varsity football officials. It's just a call that didn't go our way, and that's football. You got to deal with adversity, and I thought we overcame it in the second half, and so that makes me proud.
Okay, halftime adjustments. So like you said, you felt pretty good about your team. You felt pretty good about the situation that you found yourself in, even though it was a 7-7 game at halftime. Did you make a lot of adjustments at halftime?
Well, special teams wise, we decided to go with the hands team for kick return in the second half.
Okay.
Because they didn't have their kicker and they were trying to do onside kicks and pooches, and so we put the hands team in. So that was a big adjustment for us. Offensively, we decided to come out of the half. We ran the ball the entire first half to win, and we thought we could get lots of play action early since we ran the ball so much, and so we were able to hit Thrap off the play action down the seam on the big gain. Then Omi came back and hit Hagler on the slant bubble in the middle of the field. And those two pass plays, even though we didn't throw much today, ended up getting us down in scoring position. And so those were great. And then we talked about, hey, in this wind, we're having trouble getting the ball to Lane Thrap, who's one of our big-time playmakers. Let's motion him and hand him the ball and use him like a running back because he's just too good to not get him the football in his hands. And so we were able to get Thrap into the end zone running a fly sweep. And so we decided those adjustments. And then defensively, we just, again, talked about some little mistakes that we were making, but it wasn't a big thing. We just had our weak side linebacker kept getting caught when they were trying to run counter on the down block. So we just widened him out a half a gap, and that just kept him from getting down blocked on counter.
How important was it for your team to score in that opening possession of the second half to really regain control of the game, especially on the scoreboard?
Yeah, absolutely. And the big deal was that we were going into the win. And so we were like, wow, to go score a touchdown and take a 14-7 lead when we were going into a 25-mile-an-hour wind was huge. And I said if we can take a lead, go into the fourth quarter, and then get the wind at our back, it's going to be really hard for Eureka to mount a comeback. And they did make a good effort at coming back. But the wind played into the strategy a lot there in the second half.
And so let's talk about that too, because you decided to defer today. So walk us through what happened with the coin toss and what happened at the start of the game and how the win did come into play and what you were thinking about the win and deferring and some of the things that happened today.
Yeah, well, Eureka actually won the toss and elected to take the ball. And I think that was Coach White using his brother Nick White's strategy from Del Norte last week. The longer you keep our offense off the field from getting momentum and try to get momentum yourself might slow us down. And so that's an interesting strategy. It worked for Del Norte last week.
Because Del Norte scored on their first 4 possessions last week against St. Bernard.
Yeah, so Eureka decided to take the ball. And so for us to then stop them and go score and take a 7-0 lead and know that we were getting the football in the second half, that was big. And then Eureka chose to kick with the wind at their back to start the second half, and I respect that decision because they're trying to gain field position, but then they kicked an onside kick. So they kind of contradicted their strategy there. If you're going to kick with the wind at your back, then you want to kick deep at that point. But that was the other thing. We didn't kick any onside kicks today. We used the wind to our advantage, and our strong Spaniard kicker was launching balls into the end zone. So really, special teams played a big part in this game.
And then you knew you had the wind at your back in the fourth quarter, and you tried to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I just kept telling the coaches in the fourth quarter, I have got to stay patient and keep running the football. And they kept reminding me of that because I want to throw it. Everybody knows I want to throw it, but we stayed patient to the game plan, and it paid off in the end.
Okay, last week on the Postgame show up in Crescent City, very emotional Postgame show.